My voice, everyone.
That's right. I find it difficult to modulate the sound of my voice. I forget.
I can't control your my voice. Oh, see that lady there? Attention, yeah.
Say hello, Ada.
Hello,
Welcome to tea time.
Yes.
And tits.
And tits.
Oh my God, tea and tits. What does C stand
Wait,
for?
we have an idea
shit.
now.
That's gonna be my new podcast.
Yay!
Are we gonna talk about breast health while we drink tea?
Whoever doesn't edit this, just bleep that part out so nobody steals it. Yeah, we know who most of you 6 people are, so
That's
if
right.
it's stolen, we're on here.
If we see that pop up as a business, we're on to you fuckers.
So we got it first, man.
We're a handful of you.
You know what?
That's right.
You're just getting Funko Pops. That's all you're getting.
Oh, is that how we're gonna?
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
You finally resorted to the bowling ball gift, I see.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
All right. Yeah, okay.
I'm gonna spend $100 and buy you nothing but Funko Pops.
I thought we were done with this discussion.
Are
now.
we not even? Are you gonna make a bowling ball out of something next?
No. She wants Funko Pops. She wants them very bad. And she's resisted with my disapproving groans and monosyllabic noises.
Or is it just that I don't want to collect more things?
And so there's the metaphor where the husband keeps buying his wife bowling balls because he loves bowling. And so she doesn't use it, so he does.
It's that one Simpson type of thing. Season 1.
I believe there was also a foodstuff sticker.
Like, hey John, I bought you some new pens.
Exactly.
Now, you're absolutely correct. But I could not properly name because these things have a name.
What pens?
Yes.
Yes, they do.
Yeah, I just don't know them.
I know it's a thing. It just
I'm aware.
I better be aware by now.
I'm now at a point where, like, when I borrow pens or pencils from Sally, I'm like, is
this one okay?
I can't tell like immediately if it's shitty enough for me to use.
I do actually have a little pouch with like the shitty ones that I bought at the drugstore.
Yeah.
So I'm like, I didn't use the fancy one. It's like my uncouth, untrained hand is not, it's not going to make good use of this pen.
Why do you know this one?
Well, I mean,
Yeah, I
you
appreciate
said
that.
if you know anything about me, I'm nothing but self-aware.
You stuck with me this month.
No, I think it's the other way around.
I might have gotten. I think it's distracted.
Is Amanda on the phone somewhere?
Well, I
She was like, yeah, Pinterest. No, there's a notification. I want the notification punch to go away. Go away.
Okay.
And now she's just scrolling.
No more shame for me. I absolutely live that life. No. To hell with Amanda, figure out how to do that. I support you. Because that is infuriating.
Have it.
Yes.
Where
When you can't take that box.
Also, my iPad won't let me just call her. It has to be like FaceTime. Really? So I have to do it with my phone, which only has 29%. I don't know if I can physically call her. Let's find out.
Or you can invite her via email.
What's the thing?
It's available.
It is. I've got a button for it. No. Oh! Just like start rubbing it.
Take some tea.
Get some tea. Yeah.
Stay on brand.
That is the best.
I feel qualified to be on that podcast because I am a tea.
Right? That's right.
You're
I am very much a boomer.
there's the least food to chase.
I have been known to be a sweater pillow. What It's a user for boobs. Still want the one with
Like,
Good job.
no, it's a body pillow with the graphic of a body pillow.
and then the one with the zipper.
Wow.
Like,
I want it so bad.
Maybe, yeah, oh, that'd be great.
Oh.
Or maybe it's just slightly.
I was
taken-
having this conversation with other people about the body pillows. Like,
How do you make a body pillow sexual?
yeah,
We're back on brand, people. We're
Yeah,
figuring out how to sexualize a
I
body.
have it's like we all talk about these things.
Yeah.
That's how I know I like it.
I'm just gonna look at it.
Wow.
I told the bookies. I was like, no, I don't think we're foreign people.
Right.
It's amazing.
I hope the mic picked up all of that.
Because she can't assert herself enough physically when she's around that she has to do these things to keep herself. Hey, call us back, you goof.
It's the perfect message.
Pretty awesome.
Are you, yes, please. I was like, are you not supposed to like thank you? Like, should the words be swimming there? Like,
Yeah, because it's warming it up.
okay, yeah.
So now it's like. So dear internet, I have problems.
You're
And
looking.
this is one.
It's
John,
very,
should we work?
it's a very
Hope you're ready
delicious
for your.
product. Thank
Yeah, I
you.
think I'm
Okay. Would you like a cup? It's not a teacup?
yes.
Okay.
Are we going to do the Instagram idea we talked about previously?
I don't know.
Because I think we should go and involve teacups.
Oh, yes, I'd like to.
Yes.
Or is this not the thing we
Well,
looked at?
I want to unveil it. You know, I don't-
Yeah, okay. I get it.
You know, you gotta have a little foreplay.
That's right. Internet, consider yourself foreplay.
So jammed. No,
Yeah.
that's not.
You're welcome.
Don't complain either.
At least you weren't doing any sort of procedure.
Where is that?
You,
Where is it?
good luck with finding it again. It moves. Once it's been found, it moves somewhere else.
Oh, she'll keep looking on screen, I hope.
She hit me in the nerve that's sensitive, and so it made me like really twitch. And as my always fashion, this is not chilling. Just
No.
you know how I
This should not be so chill.
Moshi moshi.
That was you, huh?
Yeah, it must be. Hi, Amanda. I called you through Google Hangouts. So I'm gonna hang up with you and do it again. So it could be on my.
That's right.
Yeah, no, it's my iPad, so we can actually hear you.
We're the sneaky centaurs. Amanda.
Just sneak on in.
You were DMing.
I know.
But he is the sneaky centaur.
Yeah.
He's allowed to make the sneaky. Oh, he's allowed
I don't
to
know.
make the joke.
There are certain responsibilities,
Wow.
certain rights.
Okay, my
No,
name.
this is as close to fatherhood as I will ever get. Let me have this.
I've been listening to a lot of AJR, and so I was like,
Hey, man.
fit. You gotta listen to this song. It's called "To a Winner," and it's so good. And I was like, as the song starts, I'm like, this isn't a hint or anything. This is like, actually, I just think this song is adorable. Don't read into this at all, because it's a song about this guy who's gonna name his child Winter, and it's a song that he wrote for his kid.
That is
But first, I gotta find your mom, right? It's
Oh,
a lyric. Yeah,
cute.
no, it's fucking adorable. Yeah, and I was like, this doesn't mean I want kids though.
Which is
Just
why
a
it was
cute
really
little song.
funny.
Oh, so we had a fun day.
Earlier.
The farmer's market was happy about you being out and proud together.
Actually, quite a few people. Because we were dressed in the same outfit, but mine was posh and hers was.
No more Nike.
Yeah, so that was fun. No, we went to Whole Foods afterwards, and we're standing in the multivitamin aisle with the multivitamins. And Jess goes, "What do you think Tony would do if I came home with prenatal vitamins?" And a lady looked over and was like, "It would totally mess with your hormones." And then we laughed for a little while, and she's like, "Oh well, that's good to know." And then I was like, "Actually, I really feel she was just trying to bring them home to scare her husband." And then we cackled for 30 minutes.
The three of you?
Oh yeah, I was like, wow, I wish I had an empty box to give you so you could bring it home.
So,
That means
You
need
made
to
her the
keep going
calculus.
with that whole
That's
food.
I would fry so hard. Just
so yeah. No, we were all in the exact same outfit, which we were both wearing denim shorts. Mine was just longer, and she had her combat boots, and I had sandals, and I had my nice shirt with my lapel pins, and she had a fancy hat and a tank top. So it was just weird because we left in the exact same outfit, but in our own
Oh, this
size.
was not actually anything they did.
No,
Not exactly. I saw that Lisa was wearing shorts and we were going to the farmer's market, and I was like, shorts are probably a good idea. So I put shorts on, and then I just grabbed my tank top that was clean and it happened to be that one.
yeah. And so
So I only own like 3 active tops.
we went like 2 members of Destiny's Child. In the most similar of outfits
My point.
to show each other's, personal style.
That's right.
Oh, and that was like when we went shopping for the candles, and you were like, you didn't tell them that story.
No, so we went to the mall the other day for reasons. Why did we go? You went.
I was looking for specific things to celebrate Mamas, and instead,
we went to a lunch.
yeah, and instead we just bought things.
Well, I wanted to go to Time Warp.
Oh man,
books.
they're having a really good sale.
Oh,
Yeah.
Can't. I'm
So,
not allowed.
I got 4 notebooks.
I don't not have enough. Wait, I do. No, wait, never mind.
Yeah, just like So anyway, so afterwards, we were walking to Lush, but Lush still was open. So we walked back and just was like, I want incense, but I'm not gonna find any incense here. So maybe we'll just get a couple of candles. We went to the Navy Candle Company. And while we were in there, the girl who was in there was 90% sure that Jess was my wife.
Or something.
Or
that we were
something.
dating or something.
Yes, because every time Jess looked at something, she would kind of look at me and be like, she likes that.
And Lisa was like, yeah, that's great.
I'm hurting it.
Anyways.
There's sort of multiple levels of assumptions.
Yeah.
there, right?
Well, we were talking about, like, do you think if I lived downstairs, the cat would be okay? And, we're just having conversations because we live together.
But I mean, it's also like, oh, you see me, but but not, yeah, no.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, it was just like Lisa told me afterwards. And I was like, what? And I was like, oh, whatever.
The shop girl was dropping mad hints that my significant other was dropping mad hints that I wasn't getting.
Right.
And I'm like, well, lady, for
Well,
what?
that's the other level of assumption I was making. The first one is assuming you guys were together. The second one was assuming that you would not be treated into this shit.
Yeah. Well, I'm well aware of what she's looking at.
I'm just here, not paying attention.
Yeah.
All right.
Oh, fun
I really
times.
wanted to share though.
Yeah.
Eternal scribe.
Yes.
We do recapping what happened last. If I could do it, but I'm lazy.
Wow, thanks.
But,
And drinking beer. So
Okay, so like the time before last, we had that big old battle. We managed to get to the Terry Crow's hideout or whatever. And we found out, there was a lot of military people left.
I didn't get a hero point for taking a bullet and still killing that man.
you should have done that.
Continue.
I thought that had been awarded, so my bad.
That's okay. It clicked me later. I was like,
Yeah, so like the Terry Crow's place was like in a big, like a tall mountain, I guess, on this area, and it was really cold. And there was just a lot of like military, ex-military people there. Yes.
Yep.
And you came part of the cruise.
Yes. Yes. Big ol' Eastern beefcake. And very, very good hunter, apparently. And then we get wait. Well, basically we go and see the people that leave this place. When we meet Juanita, who's like this like I don't know, child soldier? I don't know what's up with that, but she's like also a spy or something. And also
She's like Sherlock Holmes's boys. Because it's a bunch of young people who like pass information on to each other and like are inconspicuous and see shit.
she has like that thing she does.
Say the whistle.
Yes, the whistle.
Yeah.
And the whistling actually conveys information to whoever's listening. Anyways, so
Yeah.
So the general is the middle-aged guy, right?
Yes.
And he's like pretty.
Yeah.
Like
He's
Yeah,
known as
and his second is like this short chick with like
Salty Senpai.
yes.
Yep.
Basically.
Jesus, Lieutenant Colonel.
And so we finally like check off a thing on our quest log because we were supposed to go to the Carrying Crows on behalf of employers of Laura in order to try to make like I don't know, connection, like we're
Right.
just collaborating, blah blah blah. And so because of things we've done to help the crows in the past, they were like, yeah, sure, that's cool, but also you can do something for us. And so that something happens to be going to a home. And
Yeah, we got to dupe the duke into a set of documents.
yes, right.
An exchange is supposed to happen at that fall on sort of a neutral
Oh, it's
ground.
like the Baron is what I'm having here. Okay. So yeah, and the ball is in a week-ish. We also got a map of Carrying Crow cells in the area to commit to memory, which was did, and a game, and then it got burned, and then then it says next time pop at Farmwell. So
Yeah,
I guess that's
gonna
what we're
come
doing.
some dude,
correct.
and I also have to talk to some.
Different dude?
Yeah.
She needs to wrestle with
No, I don't need to wrestle with Ivy.
big hunky.
No, I need to talk
We did
to
that.
the guy about the feather.
Oh yeah.
Oh, Markman's the spy they found snooping around.
Yes, so if he needs to talk to Lachlan, and I need to talk to
Someone who's a Samaritan.
thank you. Okay, but that guy was
That's what I
hanging out with me the other night.
Yes.
Sorry.
The Samaritan dude that you're referring to that's the guy you were talking about before the camera was rolling. So he's the one that was sort of doing like magic tricks to the kids. He's supposedly a scout. But he's making his glass eye disappear.
He's a scout like I'm aware.
But I mean, it kind of helped out. Like
Even that guy
That's what I said.
even requested. He was asking, well, who could I train like stealthy shit with? Because everybody else is getting some sort of training partner. Like, well, this guy.
Say no local.
Yeah, that's right.
I'm making unbreakable bonds. Awesome.
Yep.
oh yeah, you made a promise. You have to come back now. Otherwise, old people will be sad. Or they'll just like think that you actually died.
Yeah.
Mourn your death.
So, Evie, arrangements were made for you to go speak with Mr. Cromwell. The question now remains, how will you approach that?
I would be for the
go alone?
Yeah.
Okay. Perfect. So everybody else sort of goes around and busies themselves. Violena, as requested, you find a quiet spot to practice.
Well, you got shit to do.
Yeah, I mean, I'm like 2 days behind.
Yeah, the
Just gonna
further
know.
fuck you up.
It's a terrible time.
And by quiet, I mean it's away from a lot of the bustle, even though it's now pretty much evening. But the area is still pretty busy in the sense that you get put into a tent with other folks who are like working at like repairing coats,
Yeah.
blankets, and it's busy but quiet.
Am I going to just like one thing to simplify my work, or am I just like that good that it's not challenging for me?
You're practicing, so I'm not gonna have you roll yet. You're basically just continuing work. What I was telling you last time is true. For whatever reason, it feels like your work is sort of making more sense.
Oh,
It's
right.
easier than it used to
Just here though, but not anywhere else.
be. You don't know. Just right now, like you're like the kind of stuff that you had to focus a little bit more, like you seem to have an instinctive understanding of now. Like you find yourself being able to work faster.
Okay.
Before we moved to eating, talking to Cromwell and Kenya, you're looking for this older man. He's still there, like with a bunch of the kids. Like you see a couple of the other officers, like trying to, because like it's dark now. Like they're trying to corral the kids, but like he's sort of doing like little tricks to them and like pulling coins.
I sit with the children and just wait till it's done. I'm not gonna bother him. Like, anything. Be rude.
Right.
So it's just, we'll sit
Which
with.
is good. Like he looks like he's performing like actual men. Like a couple of times, like you have a couple of times where you see one of the officers scream because like he makes like he's gonna put his eyeball like onto like a kid, right? Like he's like, here, you can have my eye, right? Like, and then the eyeball disappears and then he spits it out of his mouth, right? Like
Janet is just like, oh!
yep, it freaks out like a couple of the children, right? Like, but most of them are having a great old time. Like they're freaked out, but freaked out like in a child in front of horror movies freaked out, where it's like this shit scares me, but I'm like transfixed and I need to watch this.
Jenny has a, it's amazing, it's amazing, it's amazing reaction. Sorry, John.
It's perfect.
I'm just now.
He loves shit. Like he's totally like eating it up. Like a couple of times he basically makes coins like fall out of your little belt purse. Like,
I like dump it out. There's nothing in there. How does he do these?
yeah, there's like 3 silver coins. They're all mismatched. They're all from different countries. Right? After a while, like another officer comes in and just bellows out like, "All right, enough. We need to get everybody in their tents." And then it just
Jenny with the children go, oh.
that's about the reaction. And like the officer actually looks at you, Kenya, with like a
It's very good. Look, these coins are not mine.
He sort of looks at the
Where'd you get them?
right. If you say so. Like, it's just like very politely sort of busies himself.
Oh, simple girl.
And
Can literally turn into a bed.
yeah, that's right. We have never seen. So the guy like basically puts on like a pair of leather gloves and puts on like a full high collared long coat.
Yes.
Right? And just like sort of gathers like some of his rocks and things. And he approaches you. Thank you.
You're amazing. How do you learn to do all these things?
Oh, like here and there on the road, when you're poor, like you pick up a couple of tricks, right?
Oh, you must take these back. These are not my silvers.
No, I'm okay now. Like that's we're talking some decades ago. Like that's I'm fine. Oh, I'm fine. I can take care of myself. Thank you. You keep them. It's my gift to you.
She takes out that box that has all the things that people give her, and it goes.
As you open your box, like his eye is in there, and he's like, "Oh, here, let's take that back." And he just walks it back in.
Looking for something no one's even seen.
That's where that went. You're pretty sure he had it in his socket, but just a second ago.
This is the sorcery unknown to man. It's amazing.
He actually pulls like a rod and blocks it, and then pulls one for himself, and then he sits down,
Just like
and he extends a hand. Says,
strong shake.
"I'm Janos. What can I help you with?"
I am. Alright, it's hard to say your name because there's so much of it. I am Zhenya Salvigora Terasoli. And I see that you are a Samartan. Yes. I have a very important question to ask you. Is it okay if I take your time?
Absolutely.
And then
My audience is gone.
It's not even late. The moon is still very bright. Everyone here is very afraid of the dark when children are going to come and eat them.
Children are going to come and eat them. It's fair, yeah.
Evie's ears prickle. I'm afraid of children laughing in the dark. And so she takes you.
He actually like pulls like a pipe out of his coat, and, like offers you one if you partake. He also pulls like a little square glass bottle that seems to contain like a dark liquid. It's like,
Yes. And then offers you some, because I have a shit ton.
oh, there you go. He's very happy with the exchange.
Yeah, well, I just gave you a bunch, so
And he's like, well,
I got my shit too.
I'm not exactly sure what kind of help that can be to you, but ask away.
And then so she sits there and as she's digging through her pack, because it's like 4th hour at this point. Before I left, so I lived in a small village with my sister running a inn. And then one day I came home from the forest after hunting, and she was gone. And all that was left of her list was this. And she pulls out the leather, she unwraps it with this beautiful white pristine feather. I did not know where this came from, but I asked a very nice lady in San Felipe, and she told me that these are they're not of course, but they aren't of this world, and that maybe you might know where it's from.
He actually puts his pipe in his mouth and he extends it and he's like, may I?
Please.
And And he picks it up like very carefully, like almost like his touch would make it fall apart, right? And he looks at it like real close, and he puts his pipe down. And he's looking like inside his hand. And he flips it over like very carefully. After a while, like he bites his glove with his hand and sort of drops it on the ground, picks the feather, and then stabs the back of his hand with it. So it draws blood, right? And then he keeps the feather in his hand and he looks at the trickle of blood and he picks back his pipe and just watches it for an uncomfortable amount of time.
Well, she's just this magic man.
And then after a bit, he sort of nods and wipes the blood off and just hands back the feather very, very carefully. And he says, yes, that is the feather that came out of this world. We'll say yes. In my country, these are beings that sometimes talk to our people. I hear of your group from our scouts, and I hear that you've met an otherworldly creature on your way up here.
We ran into the sheep.
Los Eyas are not so different. But the She are terrible creatures, very impersonal, like forces of nature. Los Eyas are very personal. They speak with an individual. They make deals. They get involved into the affairs of mortals. In my country, this is both looked as a boon and as a curse. There's the potential to be great evil, but also great good by making pacts with these creatures. They give boons to mortals. Not quite unlike the mother in your homeland, except they are not a force of nature, they are out of this world, but they make boons the same. With specific contracts. And then he works to look at his blood again, and he looks at sort of the dry trickle of blood, and he sort of wipes some, and just like wipes it right on his tongue. And he basically, he takes a second and says, the creature who lost this is not entirely operating on its own free will.
She's just like, this is the most physical man I've ever seen in my fucking life.
He then sort of pats into his coat, like puts his pipe back in his mouth, and he's just like patting himself for what seems like 2 minutes. And then he pulls out what looks like a little necklace on a cord that has like 3 little bones like on it. And he puts it into your hand and just like closes your hand around it. It says, this, carry this with you. It works like a, what do you call, a charm? It will protect you.
And she looks at him for a while. She was very like humbled that he gave her a gift, and then goes, I do not need protected. Veronica needs protected. She was taken from me. There is no way she would leave of her own will. I know this. I need to find her. I don't need to be protected from it.
Or you will find it. But beware the influence that they have. Things and words that they use. They make things appear not as they seem.
And because she's actually good self-aware, I'm not very good at that.
I was about to say,
He actually he reopens your hand where the necklace is and pulls his eyeball from it again. And it's like, yes, I know this. It's why the necklace.
Oh, and then she touches it to her heart and goes, "You're so kind." That's why you need. I take it.
This is my first eyeball rodeo.
Oh. She puts the necklace on with the 3 other ones she's gonna get.
Oh my God, you're turning into the dude from the
That's right.
Mummy.
Yep.
Yes.
Which one does what?
They all do something very different.
Yes.
Well, actually, I don't wear the rosary yet. It's decorated on my back.
Yeah, that one is it.
Yeah, that's what it was.
Which one you care?
Yeah. I put the necklace on and I take both his hands and I thank him profusely. And this has given me a new hope. I will fight her.
It should. The creature is not incredibly far. If it was, that feather would crumble like dust.
What does far mean?
So that's another thing.
I don't know, genuine.
It's probably not in the new world.
wow, that narrows things down.
Yeah.
How do I find it? And she looks so fucking lost again. And in her pure innocence, it's just so heartbreaking to see her crestfallen.
Well, this creature lost something too. It will be back. It needs to reclaim it.
Determination again, wraps it up, puts it at the back at the bottom of the pack.
Now, is there anything else I can help you with? Or can I move on to my other nightly activity?
No, please, I have taken more of your time than I should have.
What the other
You
one?
have been most helpful. Thank you.
I mean,
No one's gonna lay these old ladies on their own.
That's right.
he's gonna be a lot. Pull that out of your
I have to
Pull
have
it
more
on your
conversations with people. Okay.
an eyeball comes out. It's like, this isn't sexy.
My cousin Yevgeny talks to people too. For a very long time.
That's right. Wow.
For a very long time.
And always at night. And always really sweaty.
Oh,
Yeah, that's
Always fucking so sweaty.
with that, he shakes your hand. Are there things I can help with? That's
No.
usually a wrap.
You have been the most helpful.
The most helpful of anyone I've ever talked to,
Kind of.
including my own companions. They're no help at all.
Well, I'm also really happy talking to you about this.
No.
That's a big one. Like, all of you like hear me mention every now and then. I'm like, who's that chick?
Yeah, you just keep telling me, I'll tell you when you're older.
Right.
Sometimes I think I know
I
them.
don't think he's ever in, I don't think he's ever in
And
town.
with that, giving, you are escorted by a couple soldiers into sort of a more heavily guarded part of camp. It is still part of the where the triage is happening, but you see that there's like a heavy guard rotation sort of posted. Like they don't look too on edge, but they're watchful. And you're being taken to this one particular tent. There are two.
Right. I was like, I feel like there's something.
There are two guards who look Ison at the door, sort of leaning on very tall spyhanders. They wear like a big sort of blue hat, right? Probably mercenaries. They're guarding the tent, and as they see who you're escorted with, they sort of pull aside a little bit to allow you space into the tent. One of the soldiers pulls the flap, gestures for you to go inside, and they do not follow. They actually stay outside the tent. Inside, you see a cot, a very sparse little table. You also see in the corner like a bunch of effects. You see a coat. You see a few caps. One of them suspiciously looking like a long coat hat. See a quiver of arrows, a couple other weapons. It is kept in the tent. And on the cot, you see this older gentleman, probably in his early 60s. He has sort of olive skin, slick back gray. He's impeccably shaved. You actually see like a shaving kit and like a basin of water and a couple of towels on the table next to him. He's wearing a crisp shirt. Even in this condition, the shirt is like pristine. He has a pair of little spectacles on his nose, and he's sort of sitting in the bed with his hands crossed in his lap. And as he sees you welcome, he sort of gestures to a little stool that has been put next to the bed. And immediately he says, "Please, have a seat. I've been expecting."
Quickly hesitant. I'm gonna have to come up with some sort of equivalent to show my badge.
He actually recognizes the weapon. He gestures towards the stool, then extends a hand towards you and says, "Pleasure to finally meet you. I'm Sir Alexander Cromwell."
The pleasure is all mine.
Very good to finally meet you, Damien. I apologize. I would normally stand to greet a lady, but if you've been made aware of my predicament, that does not seem like it would be possible for you now or ever again. Unsealing, unfortunately, gave me a crippling blow, wrapped her long hands around my pelvis and crushed until there was nothing but mush. It's a miracle I survived. And this is
Wait, how close so wow. Looking there now.
if the crow had not been here when they were, I probably would have died on that mountainside. Quite the undignified death, I'm afraid.
Kind of shudders.
He sort of looks at you and like takes your hand in his. And he's like, "Enough about you. I suspect you have questions."
Yeah. If you think it's through your mom.
Absolutely.
Okay. All right. So, what was your mission to pursue the party?
Well, my original mission was twofold. The first was to try to ascertain whether there is validity in the rumors that the King of Destiny is building an armada with a potential move against our crew. While I have managed to substantiate that an armada is in fact in talks of being built, I have yet to define its purpose as to whether they will move against Avalon or if they plan to use it in the defense of Castile. My second objective was to look into the potential sedition in Odisea, which is why I was in San Felipe. To try to verify whether there were any truth to the rumors of independence and to ascertain whether, if independence was achieved, whether this new sovereign state could be an ally of Avalon. I have managed to make some headway into this, and I will share my findings with you later. I suspect I will have some difficulty completing my mission. During my investigation, I was made aware of the presence of one of our rogue elements and was approached by our mutual contact in San Felipe. I was tasked with tracking Lackland down. This was seen as a fortuitous circumstance that he would appear here. I was given instructions that he was looking into the Carrion Crow and was trying to find their headquarters. So, in an attempt to try to get a head start, I investigated them myself and started tracking them down. Unfortunately, Blackburn was one step ahead of myself, and I had to put myself in the face of danger to try to stop it, with the results being as you see. But if the rumors I hear from murmurs around this camp are true, it looks like you have completed this part of my mission. Is that some hesitation I sense? Is that some hesitation I sense?
Yeah. It's complicated. I'm trying to get involved in this, particularly involving
Yes, that's rather peculiar. The she do not usually get involved with humans, not at that level. You manage to divine any sort of reasons as to why Aladdin did what he did, why he and the she left.
yes, I actually the first one was a house. Lady our blood trader and did serve it. I was in
This is the dark side of playing the game of cloaks and daggers. How much are we actually being told, and how much of what we do is for the greater good? You've read Lackland's words, and you've had your own experiences with the Queen. What are your thoughts?
I still trust me. I don't think she could have entirely known where she is. I mean, I'm not telling you what he does or she'll like give a quick backstory. But I guess that's what I've only told me to be to. I can say to the rest of the group.
Here, but I'm actually there.
What I read. But she used to worship the small village around the back for generations. Wiser. Some tradition. And she was kind of fine with that. However, the rest of the she were not, and they want to take example. And it showed her to be afraid, and I recalled her to remind them of where their worship and loyalty and fear should lie. She would try to process refused, and it was that to be found. Lots of producer by order, queen, and eventually I'll be sorry from if you appreciate her.
See,
And in the end, wouldn't deliver the final bill of living the truth. So they try to run away together, knowing that people, at this point, I think I was persuaded quite aggressively.
mhm,
And that's when they fell in with Carson, the first church solution. If they would work it, which they would well do, was most likely hope,
mhm.
but they murdered and they did whatever he asked them to do just to gain a little bit more time with each other, try to figure out the next one. And that's what I got up with. And they did certainly quite convincingly thank me for ending for the book instead of the basic music were being about taken.
Well,
So,
complicated as his motives might have been, Lackland was a knight through and through. So you have given him his final wish, which was if he could not escape to freedom or leave his life behind, I would assume he wanted to die as a knight, which was his life's work. Look,
well, now I just wonder about whether the order to receive the sheet nurse state was acceptable, or if the name of our speakers.
I'm sure the order came. Dealings with Grand Versailles are as treacherous as jewels to the death. One wrong word and the Fae could turn on our people. They would not turn towards the wielder of the growl, but as you well know, the she made it a point to twist the meaning of words until they can get their way. Listen, the Queen does not issue every order we receive, although we are her knights. I also know that the Queen is surrounded by vipers. There are many who see her attempts to appease the three kingdoms and the she as a sign of weakness and would like nothing more but to take a much more violent approach to establishing Avalon as a place of power. As knights, our duty to the Green Isles come first. You were chosen, like all of us, by their within. The man does not make mistakes. He knows your heart, even as you do not know it. Trust in his judgment. He actually looks at you like real into glee for a second. And that says, my pack in the corner, bring it to me.
No, you're talking.
Wow. He crawls against
Right.
the floor like
It
this.
takes an uncomfortably long time. As you bring the pack to him, he sort of takes like the big pack, the one that looks like a bow pack, and basically snaps it open and lays a beautifully crafted, what looks to be ancient, yew longbow onto the bed. And then he reaches into the pack and pulls a little pouch from this. He sort of adjusts the spectacles as he looks inside the pouch to make sure everything is there. And he turns back towards you. I will eventually make my trip back to the Green Isles, but as you can see, it will be some time still until I'm well enough to travel. In the meantime, there's still work to be done here in Castile. I am out of commission. I will never serve the Queen in the ways that I was able to prior. My body is broken. I am well aware of this. And while I suspect the Queen will have work for me once I return to the motherland, my mission still remains unfinished even. Here, come closer. He takes your hand and in it places a pin that has a crossed bow, sword, and sword in front of what looks like the ground. It says, "Well, I wish we could do this under more competent circumstances. By the power the Queen has vested upon me, I am hereby promoting you to senior agent in her name in Castile.
Wow.
You,
None of us know about this.
right,
So great.
he pins the pin to your cloak so that the face is actually inside of it, inside of your label, so that you can turn it if you need to. And then from his pack, he draws an ornate rapier and basically lays it on both of your shoulders. From now and henceforth, you will be known as Knight Captain Healy in service of Queen Elaine and the Ground. In this journal, you will find the details of my mission. They are now yours to complete. Duty binds you. Find out if our queen has enemies in Castile. Build whatever relationships you can. If the Odisseo movement gains traction, gain their trust. They can be your allies. And with that, he sheathes the rapier and then hands you the bow. This is yours. This is a knight's captain's bow that has felled many enemies of the crown over the past 3 centuries. Use it well.
Thank you. Promise you I will do it later.
I'm certain you will. I will remain here for some time, so if you need any additional advice, feel free to write or reach me through any means you can. I'm not sure of what help I can be, but I will assist with what I can.
Try not to wear it out.
Nice.
This
Totally hear that. You're fine.
This is my final act as Knight Captain. Dane Healy, Castile is in your hand, and I at your command.
Where's that guy to dress?
I wish you a safe journey home. What would you recommend?
Thank you. I will let you know when it gets time. In my notes, you will find my list of contacts in Castile. They are now yours. Make use of them as you see fit.
But packing things away and you're on your trade pockets.
Now, is there anything else I can help you with?
I think that the Lord is about to help you already provided. Is there anything else I can do for you? Bring you some sort of I don't know. I feel I should somehow thank you, even though it's very unfortunate circumstances that it's happening.
Probably what she was talking about. If you can find some proper Avalon brandy, I would be eternally grateful. Thank you. Thank you. This will make this bed rest that much more endurable. All right. I suspect you now have work. Walk in the glory of the ground. Eh?
I also it's no way not the walking part.
Oh, you just put your finger on
That
You just got it, and then you thought better of it.
Yeah.
you know, because I would get really
All
out
right.
of character. Does that mean I come out every day?
I don't know that your friends know.
No,
I don't
well, I know I don't.
Yeah.
I don't know that anybody was there to witness it. The guards probably heard. You're not quite sure whether they're going to say anything.
I mean, isn't that something that you have to, like, you know, report yourself, like being pregnant?
Yeah. It's really rude if I just ask you.
Yeah.
Well, it's like no one knows why I'm looking for this feather.
Yep.
Who Nika is.
That's right.
I haven't told any of you.
After all this time, you're still keeping secrets from each other. So, yeah.
Well, I don't know if she's keeping a secret from them. I think she just,
Yeah, she's not talking about it.
it never comes up when she's with me. So yeah.
My original thought was, yeah, but does anyone care?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean,
No, not like that, but like,
The top thing. You asked me, tell you.
yeah, you know.
Right?
No,
Are
but
you a knight? If you're a knight, you're going to tell us.
yeah, no. If she were like, oh, by the way, hey, tonight,
we'd be
like,
like,
the
okay,
holy girl, and we're like, all right, sure. Are you gonna pass the food or not? Like, is that? Can you not?
make sure you leave the bunny alone.
Yes.
And you guys probably don't notice when I like appear on Libations anyway.
Yeah, well, because you're always disappearing. So.
That's right.
Yeah, because the subtitle of this game is There's a Bean.
Yep. You've established this as your MO, so none of us question it because it
Yeah.
provides results.
Yeah.
And that's really what our team cares about.
I think
Results.
we've established the headcanon that when Evine disappears, she hangs out with Marcus
Yeah.
from the vampire game across time
Yeah.
and dimensions. But yes, you're escorted back into the camp proper. Any of you who are still around, yes, will witness Evine being escorted back, carrying two bows.
Two bows.
Yeah, hers and another bow.
Oh,
I'm still actually, you know, making my hands bleed.
yeah. I might be scrimshawing at this point near wherever she's
Yeah,
at, and I'm like,
and Jenya's probably the closest one.
I'm not sure which one of us is doing more damage with smaller blades.
Yeah. Oh yeah, that's right. You were also capped for practice by that one
Oh yeah, and I put in
that one
like,
vested
after-
couple that
yeah,
are training
yeah.
recruits.
And after everyone got the shit kicked out of them, I was like, okay, cool. Now I can do what the fuck I want,
Yep, yep,
and they can all think about how inadequate they are.
yes. There's a bunch of them. A bunch of them are not from Destin, and they're like, I'm not used to living like big swords like that.
Yeah,
And they're like fucking sore. They keep like coaching. It's like use your body. Like don't try to finesse it. Like just lean into it.
Don't flinch.
It's like, every time you flinch, we're gonna punch
Yeah,
you harder.
they were having Rethel throw axes at them last
Right.
time. It's like that one keeps flinching. Like throw axes at him until he stops.
He finally just sort of passed out, I just like gave up and stopped flinching. So I was done.
That's right.
So after that, I would go post up with whatever crew I could find, and if that's only her then.
Yeah.
I absolutely. Or her and Jimena, because I'm sure Jimena would be.
Yeah, he let us buy the food.
Yeah.
And then Jenya finished talking to a weird man of mystery and is now like more like in the sort of like where the triage tents are. So Jenya is probably the closest to you.
I mean, I would also figure out where our tents are going to be posted for the night, and that's what, make sure the logistics are taken care of, because we're decently high on the pecking order.
Yeah, they
Right.
they actually gave you the closest thing to like a private tent for your crew, by which I mean like it's a repurposed like triage tent that
I mean, we've got our own gear, so like,
Yeah.
if they had it, cool. But if not,
They have like some cots in there and some tables and some space, and they're like, yeah, we're not using this one right now, so we linked our people. Sorry about the noise because you hear, like some of the other patients, like the other camps.
And none of us ain't used to it. And those who ain't have other problems they can worry about. So, yeah.
I still haven't wrote her name down. But who are the two people we were riding in with? From the crows?
Oh,
Aliana.
Aliana and
Arno.
and Stumpy.
Wow.
What?
Arno.
Yeah,
So
Arno leg on him anymore. So,
Oh my goodness.
sorry, Arno one leg on Arno.
Yeah, that's right.
It's like Arno one legged. There we go.
sorry, what was her name again?
Aliana.
All I could hear is Arno. Okay, so
Oh,
Zhenya collects quite a few bottles of whatever booze is kind of lying about to her discretion.
mhm,
And she goes to find Aliena,
mhm.
and I assume she's with No Leg.
Arno and the
Arno.
trio set.
Are not going to be walking in.
That's right.
Yes.
Wow.
And she offers them drinks and sits and she was looking for some mother country company.
Right.
And figured if anyone could use cheering up, it was these two.
Yeah. Arno.
Yeah.
Arno is still phasing in and out, and he's still in a, I don't know, he's still a bit in shock over everything that's gone on. Now that he's receiving attention and the immediate danger to his life has passed, like Aliona has calmed down significantly.
Yeah.
She's taking an approach of like, well, he worked as a scout, he worked logistics, and he can work maps, and there's still plenty of
She's
shit
half
for him to
she's
do.
glass half full.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He's missing a leg. He's not there.
Yeah.
He's not missing legs.
So she's sort of,
He's still got bumps.
yes.
He's just missing.
So yeah, she's actually pretty happy to see you and happy to have the booze.
Yeah.
Arno is not in a state where he can drink quite yet, but she drinks for him.
Yeah. It's just
Um,
a family thing.
Once in a while, Ivan pokes his head in when he's on the rounds.
I was like-
to chat.
I was like, if Ivan pokes his head in, come sit. Yes. Let us tell stories.
He comes for like 2-3 minutes at a time,
Yeah.
and he doesn't sit. But, like he stays by. He's wearing an apron that's just like covered in blood, and like he's just like there, like with his fists on his hips, like sort of chatting for a little bit, and then after a while he's like, I gotta go, and he just heads back out and stops by on his next
His
on his next round.
Hello, Shannon.
You say he comes by and chat, and all I imagine is he comes in and he goes, ah.
Yeah, basically.
And
He's
then
mostly-
then the
he's-
people talking, he goes, yeah.
He's listening to Jenya's story and like corroborates with like yes or no.
We're like,
He comes in and makes like one or two grunts, and Jenny just starts laughing
Right.
her ass off. It's so funny. Don't you hear?
well, after a while, if they're drunk enough, they'll probably just laugh along.
So if Evine is strolling about and doesn't see Jenya because she's
Yeah, actually, she would see you now because Jenya's in the tent, just laughing and drinking. So you're the one out in the open.
I would see Evine with the two bows, and I would definitely stop mid scrim and just sort of like dog confused head cock at the second bow.
Why don't you two?
No, that's not the question. I mean, if that's your question, sure, but I would definitely just head cock loudly.
Yeah, you definitely catch that. You can actually see him. Who can get you?
You can see him talking through here.
Yeah.
Yep, yep.
Like if you don't say anything or come over long enough, you'll get a ah.
Are you near me? Is that is
Yeah, we're
okay.
here.
Yeah.
I probably like paused it that for what's wrong? Oh.
I think she would like make her way to the corner she has and like unload.
Oh,
She just like goes by.
so our tent. Yeah, she goes into our tent. Yep.
And I mean, my own that is
Like if you pause and
continues working.
then walk away to go drop stuff off without saying anything, as you walk away, you would hear another ah.
She doesn't want to talk about the composer thing. I think we should give her space.
So you,
But she wants to talk about the composer.
you go to your quarters and you unload. You stay there after that. You go back.
I go back and start searching for that brandy.
Oh yeah, yeah.
Yeah, I see you finally come back unburdened, and I go ah.
How are you doing?
Well, you know.
So, Vivian, do you like pants or skirts? Hey, I gotta make outfits for everybody. This is a legit question.
You get a head cock as well.
Well, we're going to a ball.
What sort of question?
Oh, that's what I assumed. I'm not here.
Yes, you're not here, but that was the point.
I'm telling you.
I'm not sure I actually say that in character, but I just asked that.
No, I totally believe you. I said character, and
Because none of us are quite sure what's going on.
As you work,
yeah, if she volcano goes, you know, whatever.
And if the answer is yes, I will decide for myself.
Yeah, no, I slowly move my head back and forth between the two of you after that question.
potential break.
Oh, for the ball. I'm a seamstress.
I nod in acceptance, but also disappointment.
You have an answer?
I think
Oh, for the ball.
Do you prefer pants or a skirt?
Of course.
I will make one of each, and then you can decide.
Wear them both together.
Yes.
I will wear whichever one she does.
Yeah. I need someone to say
Well, she put her
I don't care. I said what I said.
But I do. Well, I'm making a skirt now, so deal with it.
Oh, good. You can go with my others.
We're northern country that wear skirts.
I'm pretty sure mine has been under the skirts as well. So it's not weird. Actually, I think I'd be more weirded out by the pants because they'd probably be nice and snug. Ooh.
You all hear loud, discerning laughter.
But nothing else.
That's it.
was the final thing last semester.
Yes. That's exactly what I was thinking.
So after the
Subtitles loud and certain loud.
after the skirt pants question, I will actually be like, so is there one less in the camp?
Oh no. Next time.
Oh, okay.
Wow, like we don't even notice anything different because she gets this new pin, it's on the inside. Like we don't know nothing.
Yeah, it's fine. Yeah.
Every now and then Google yelling in my ear over you guys.
All right.
Who's yelling in your ear over us? Oh, my bad.
car.
Oh, boy.
But by way of explanation, well, you see, I went to talk about format was it is local state party agreement. She's quite crippled now. So, we taken it not close for him, but I didn't use that in a long way.
No, what am I doing? All right, cool.
Which is the line.
Um, okay. So for the next excursion, I think Jenny and myself will be outside doing our thing. Is your guys' plan to appropriate the item without them knowing, or is someone going to pretend to be the contact? What are we thinking?
Why am I so?
The thought we're supposed to be getting the paper from this guy that has a list of
Yes,
names
it
of
is. It's
locales.
yeah.
At the party.
I feel we should have more purpose.
I love it. I love it.
I think, well, we should start with trying to be sneaky, and then if that doesn't work, something.
I think sneaky twice, hurt third.
So sneaky as in not being seen, sneaky as in social, sneaky, or no more sneaky, kill things.
Yeah, I'm
Well, I'm
thinking.
here.
I'm thinking that maybe we get one of you to be whomever is the contact to try and just trade off the thing. Failing that, to just take it off of him. And then failing that, make sure he's somewhere where we can hurt him. And then just take it. Fair?
Well,
I can be the contact.
well, I'm better at being support than maybe the situation, so I can be weak again. And point in the right direction.
My brain was like, she's just gonna stop there. So I just go with her.
I mean, sort of.
It's kind of basically what I'm thinking. So this is in San Felipe. So we should know where this is in town. And do we also have an idea of what the estate looks like?
Oh, do you have like a blueprint for the fucking house or whatever?
Yeah, not currently. We do have a week.
I suppose we will have to go back to San Felipe and try to figure out what we could get to.
Well, yeah, first light when we're headed back to town. The longer we're gone, the weirder it looks.
Oh yes, I very much need to be back soon.
Mom's gonna be mad.
I'm already
We're already in trouble.
Yeah.
We'll be grounded for a month instead of a week. What do we know who the contact is supposed to be? Who we're supposed to be making a standoff with?
No, those have not been.
I think we only know that it's happening, not any of those.
What you do know is there's going to be an exchange between the Val d'Auvergne and an agent of the Inquisition.
Oh, the Baron Montaigne, right?
Which is how you convince me to do that. Yeah, let's talk about it.
So a
Oh,
month.
wait, I've got that close. Does that mean we can use that shit now?
Exactly. So we get a Montaigne Baron who's trying to exchange this with a.
He's trying to get into the good graces of the Inquisition, so he can acquire an actual estate in Castile. Montaigne are not Montaigne are not really welcome in Castile right now, so he's trying to get into good graces so he can purchase his estate.
Okay. So we get Jimena to pose as the in-between, and Marlena can masquerade as an undercover brother. Undercover night sword. So like you wear the cloak under a different cloak, and you can flash them on when Jimena's like, I do have something on mind that do have something that we're going to trade or something, right?
We looked at sound. That was pretty close.
Megan, if you watch this episode, I hope you enjoy.
And if her clever deception skills don't serve us well, you can give the signal to Vivi to take it overtly, hopefully also directing him somewhere where he'll be relatively unguarded, or even unguarded entirely. Like, an empty room in the estate or some such, because we should really get blueprints for it. And that way, Jenny and I can be camped out in the room for some ultraviolence, should the need arise. Yeah.
Okay. Actually, yeah, I'm pretty happy with this. So,
You mean? Do you think if you fail to appropriate a document that you could then convince someone to join you in a room privately?
If I fail, I can always, fail. I can always perfectly humble and try to obviously feel something and then make break for it.
I like that too. Cool. Cool. Three plans are better than one, and let's let's call it a night, and then head down the mountain so we can get ourselves some blueprints of this shindig, as well as give our boss the good news.
contingent on, but yeah.
We found them. We're members now, effectively. It's good news.
I'm like, I don't think it's effectively. It's just, yeah.
All right. So you wrap up your affairs for the night. You do have the 110 for all of you, so it's
Shindig never comes back.
Yeah.
Stays out all night.
Oh my. Well, I guess I probably would do that.
so you get a pretty good,
It's just like, what are the questions?
Just talking with Yvonne.
you get a pretty good
Yvonne. Her and Ivan are going to wrestle.
I mean, the funny part is they probably would. Just not the way you think.
Yeah. It just makes me miss my husband.
Yeah, he used to wrestle with me.
You need a lot of garlic. That's a Zora the Game Lay joke. Thank you.
I'm so confused.
Do you know what I'm talking about? That's good. Rabbit? Do you remember Zora the Game Lay? Do you remember Zora the Gay Blade?
Yeah.
No, Lisa. No.
Yeah, no,
So the Duchess starts trying to attack him in her personal bedchambers, and she's like, take me, please. And he's like, what about your husband? And she's like, no, it's only over 12 times a year. And he's like, once a month. He's like, no, it's all in one night. And he's like, what? Does he eat anything on that night? And she's like, what a garlic. Trade secrets. So cool. So yeah, we all crawl in. Those of us who are there, and then bright and early next morning, we're up to help with breaking what little camp we made and breakfast.
yeah, it's pretty minimal.
Sandy is helping serve breakfast.
Given
yeah, I'm sure.
that the
Like that's where we find her.
It's like you were out late and you got up early and you were like, where'd you go?
She's gone.
Story of the fucking life. That's just it.
Some people never sleep. I don't, but some do. I don't never sleep. I'm always sleeping.
They won't make it.
don't
Even
really
now.
see-
Yes, I'm doubly negative that I would not sleep. So always,
Early for this.
always take the opportunity. Otherwise, you turn into that.
Just so happy.
Can't stand it.
I think it's pleasant.
So yes,
So I also wake up early.
you don't have too much to break camp because again the tent was already there. When you roll up, Virginia is serving breakfast and morning mess. Yeah, there's sort of a bustle of activity in the camp. You see some people are preparing to go hunting, very likely. Yeah, it's sort of all geared up. You get the same sort of camaraderie as you come in the morning. People are running mess, even people you've not talked to, just come and chat with you.
As soon as Jenya drags herself away from the mess situation, we're on our way.
Yes, it does take a couple hours.
I still have a stop at Portsmouth.
And before she leaves, she does have to go say goodbye to Ivan.
That's right.
Like, if he was there, I'd have been like, can you please tell her we need to go? Like, I will enlist whatever ally is
Yeah,
available.
because if you wait long enough,
Because I
then you
know,
don't
yeah.
have lunch suddenly.
Yeah, I
and
know.
then
If
you
you ask
Ivan-
Yeah.
If you ask Ivan, he's sort of God.
Yeah, and I know that his word is bond at that point. So yeah. So I imagine he comes over to Xenia, and Xenia is just like,
He actually comes to you and like removes his apron and gives you like a big old
oh, real talk,
bear hug.
real talk time.
And it's short.
Yeah.
And then
It's just,
I imagine he
He's like-
turns her.
yeah, that's exactly what happens. He holds you by the shoulders and then says, "Keep Dutch." And he turns you around and moves you towards.
and I stumble the first few steps, and I just, oh, it's time to go?
That's a for your superior officer.
And if you turn around as you step back, he's putting the apron back on.
She takes off hers, and do the uplifting things.
Go.
I feel comforted that he has the same.
I can manage.
When I find Mika, I will be back for you.
Yes.
And then him, off she trots.
Do we still not have enough horses? Are we good on horses now?
I mean,
Yes.
I've got a horse.
I mean, that's what I meant. Like, is that the same arrangement then?
I mean, yeah, that's what
Yeah.
we came in with.
Arno is the one that left the sword. So
And we're not traveling with Arno anymore, so.
Wait,
Or
who's
Arlena?
actually going back then? Or are we just going back where we came?
know exactly what you do. You have
know.
to,
Yeah.
I mean, I
they
can
have
go-
a map to memory. You know,
Once we're on this ridge, we can find our way to the fucking.
oh yeah.
And my tracking skills will take me anywhere. So
Well, alright.
I mean, if we're still on this peninsula, we can just head either north or south, and then west, and we'll hit the town. So it's fine.
Okay. I guess, yeah.
So I'm riding a horse, not a bear, right?
yeah, no, it's the horse is more comfortable.
I thought it was pretty novel though.
Yeah, right. Riding on a fucking bear.
The bear you have to ride like this.
Or you could just lay back on it on
Yeah,
a haunch.
Yeah. That's right.
but it's more like sway.
Yeah, it's like being a
Yeah, waddles.
Yeah. Or,
I feel like I liked it, but I probably want to do it like up. It's just a thing. Well, no, then it's really fun.
I heard you have comparisons.
Yes.
Right there, done.
horse, check.
Horse with wings.
Well, I was not
She didn't get
riding
to
the
ride me as a bear horse.
But I actually do want to ride the bear, so I want that to happen.
I have to say,
The whole bear?
you may be tempted to picture it as the Pegasus. It
No.
wasn't.
No.
It was a weird horse with like the front of a horse and like the back like was sort of going in another like
I
downward.
saw it that it was still a horse, but the front legs were wings.
Yeah. It was
Oh.
a weird
Yeah.
ass thing. And the back was starting to like arch down.
Yeah, and feathers. Yeah.
It had feathers.
Oh,
And then you put them into your film.
Heavy beer and cheese. Maybe you not failed.
You've gotten your Ivan time,
It was spoiled as shit.
your Samaritan time.
Yep.
You can find that eyeball again.
And then I go, it's gone.
That's right.
It's a crafted piece of glass.
For the next 6 months, you'll keep finding this eyeball over and over
That was so
and
weird.
over.
But every time I try to show it to somebody, it's
Yeah.
gone.
And every time you go to put it in the pouch, the other one that you put previously is gone.
I feel like I might see it at some point. I feel like it's really shameful you sold that man's eyeball. Like,
I think of those children. I'm going to amuse them with that.
Detachable eyeball.
I did not take
I
it.
called the party I was at last night.
You mean when people were talking? Yeah, just talking. Like Jenya's cousin. That man loves talking.
He talks so hard. So yeah,
He's a passionate talker.
he's a passionate but gentle talker. He should write a book on how verbose he is. Like, he should give seminars. Sorry. Anyway, I could keep going. Just like he can. So I think as soon as we're out of that pass, we sort of head off in a weird direction, double back to the old camp where we found all the dead bodies, or the not dead bodies, and then basically beeline back to town.
That's right.
What is that? A 2-day trip?
Yeah. We have to camp one night in the wilderness. The beauty of going the trip this way is that you get to clear most of the mountain pass on day one.
Oh, so we don't have to like sneak in that weird place called the streaking or whatever it was.
Now,
Well, that was us. Yeah, the screams were inside us the whole time.
Oh.
No, it was the fucking gross sheet thing.
Right,
that we
right.
were- Yeah, so
Yeah.
it's good.
Oh wait, we took care of that.
But we very took care of it.
There were no kids.
Yeah, old two bows being there.
Your bows would be
You know what? She should grow 2 arms and she can like double bow it.
really extra arms. Just get to learn to use your legs with that.
If I lose an arm, I can go extra
That
arm.
makes so little sense. I would even
Like you put your boot in the middle of one of the bows and you draw it with one arm.
okay.
And it'll sit down.
Do you remember Hot Shots?
But how can you do that? To draw with one arm when you're drawing the other?
It's like
That
sort of like-
reference checks out.
I imagine a movie like that where she holds one bow in one arm and one bow in another, and then two other hands come up out of frame
Yeah,
and pull for her.
yeah.
I feel like I wouldn't be incredibly surprised if I saw that happen because Mary Linda kind of thinks that, you know, he just does weird magic-y things that don't make sense and sometimes don't really exist but do.
I mean, she does.
I mean, that's exactly what she does, right?
While Jenya is fixed on the fourth hand that appeared, she looks up and there's a third eyeball in Nadine's head, and it winks at her. And then it's gone.
His eyeball is going to be coming back forever now. That's how it works.
Jenny will be haunted by the eyeball.
But like, just so like, and if, I imagine him being like, "How come you took that? I didn't take it. No, it just follows me everywhere."
And the pranks you play with this man's eyeball, I
Right.
love them. They're fantastic. But it's very insensitive and out of character for you. I really,
The iris is a different color every time.
you're the only one that notices.
It's not the same one. There are many.
You stole all of his eyeballs? Like he had spares and you took those too?
Right.
You give me such insight.
I feel like at some point during this conversation, like he switched both of his eyes. Right?
He's a very mystical man.
Maybe that was my nickname in college. No.
With his college.
Hey,
Anyway,
this college
Yeah, I'm
is-
thinking about
It's like Academy, but with less swords.
did I go?
No.
What is
Well,
this?
you know that there's an officer's academy
Yes.
where people go to get sticks up their ass because they don't remember what it's like to be an actual soldier. Because the NCO versus CO is a real thing.
That's
Sir on the West Point of the
probably isn't. They probably just like do it in the snow. That's it.
Right.
Sorry.
They basically they throw you into a regiment and then they're like, make these men do as you command.
Figure it out or die.
That's right.
That's true.
So yes, the trip back is actually much more pleasant. No weird noises. Even you're on the lookout for creepy children. Like you're waiting.
I know that fuckers right here
When
somewhere.
you're camping out in the wild, you like come out, you fuckers. I'm ready for you now. I got 2 bones. I can handle this. Nothing. Nothing. Just regular boring ass nature sounds.
And we eat real good.
Yep. You eat some horse meat from that unfortunate travel companion that you had on your way out.
What happens?
I feel like Humana is going to be like questionable of it for a minute, and I'm like, okay.
Yeah, no,
I don't know if
absolutely.
she has that compulsion. Maybe we'll have to ask her next when we see her again.
No, it's well prepped. It's been air dried. It's pretty good. But yes, before long, on day 2, the climate becomes much more amenable. As you get back into the rolling hills, you're like, was it always that humid? Yes, it was.
And so you gotta get to the city so you get that sea breeze. Because
No,
otherwise,
that's right. The hills are uncomfortable. And before long, you are inside of something again. It feels like you were not gone that long, but the checkpoint at the gate.
I better
Quite
fucking
a lot.
These poor fuckers.
That's something that's real good. Like,
The checkpoint is looking like an actual affair.
An
now.
actual,
Like it's no longer like a pile of hay with some lumber and like 3 dudes. Like there's a process.
Janice
There's an
turns into a bear for
overpass
this.
up top.
Oh, do you do that while I'm still there? I'm just like, whoa, okay.
Well, I can't
I
shift
can't.
from. Well, that was a problem last time.
Oh.
That's why I got upgraded to hybrid. I can't shift from one to another, so I have to shift to me, then to another.
Oh, okay. And then
I
I
see
just
this-
like get back on,
I
or
see this, I'm like,
Okay.
get comfortable. Like, just like lean back, right? And
I
so,
might not be good at nuance, but I am fun. I can take a joke.
so just like before, I'm like, I'm gonna lean on Jimena to be my translator.
Oh yeah.
Yes, it is much more professional this time around. Like there's a couple of soldiers sort of ushering through. There's one person like asking questions and checking traveling papers as your turn comes up.
And I will be talking at you as if you're like a trained pet. So you know beforehand that you may not get random barks of orders.
You immediately get looks as you approach because of the weird setup that you have going on. Jimena sort of rolls up next to you. Like, oh hi.
Yeah. Yeah. I'm like so Jimena knows that she's gonna be like our interpreter.
Yeah.
To get us through to help push it, because I don't think they'll let us in. But whatever it takes to obfuscate our situation will help. So yeah, I basically would be like, you know, she would like, hi, we're back. You know, So the shtick is that Mr. Mendez of Mendez y Mendez was consulting a client out of town, and that was returned to settle his affairs in town as well as come back to his practice.
Right. You hand your paper with your company name on there. He looks at it. He looks at you. He looks at the bear.
That is my So
The bear does a.
so
I feel like I just do my sweetest smile.
Jimena is of course my secretary and associate. Yvine is of course my personal assistant, as is Marilena is also my personal assistant, and the bear is also my personal assistant.
He sort of looks at the bear, then to Marilena, then to the bear, then to you.
I go like this.
There's
Like as he looks from me back to her and she gives a little wave. If he looks back at me, I give a wink
and Kesty
and a smile.
The bear sits and goes.
And if he looks back at me after the
Like
bear,
two brown bears.
I wink deeper.
We do it in Spanish.
There's a guy like next to the man, like looking at the paper, and then he hands you back the paper. And for those of you who speak Castilian, like the guy next to him is like, "You can't make that shit
Fucking bear. You don't
Like
see those around
he
here.
basically like he doesn't say it like full breath, but he's sort of like, "You are a little lie about it. Why would you think that? That'd be stupid."
Like after the wave, I'm like, yes, you are. You're the best bear in all the land. All of Thea doesn't have a better bear than you.
And he just like, move on. And they sort of usher you through.
This bear that's full of fucking necklaces.
Yeah.
And
But it's invested, so like you can hear the intent, but it's not. You're not sure exactly.
As you're walking through, like you hear the next person behind you is like basically being like,
Hey, bear fucker,
right? It's like
do you need assistance?
just the guy like that comes after this whole written view, like being like,
I don't even know.
I work in lumber. I went out of town to get lumber.
This is
Now
the
I'm
lumber
back.
that I have.
This is the lumber that I brought. They're like, just move on.
Thanks. Captain, can you confirm for me that the people in front of me was a gentleman who intimated he had sex with a giant bear?
Well, you know, you're one of these weird it's like who knows?
Yeah.
Weird wonders.
They have weird customs.
Oh man, you can start that fucking rumor. Yeah. It's like, oh, you need litigation? That bear fucker, he's a hell of a lawyer.
I
Know
know
your
this.
epithet now? Bear fucker.
Mendez y Mendez, we fuck bears.
Mendez, we fuck bears.
There's a novel about it available on Amazon.
Oh my gosh, yes!
That's right, take it back.
Nice.
Mendez, we fuck bears. Your case doesn't scare us.
Strong. Strong.
That's
Real fucking strong. I
it's
love
just the conversation, right? Like it's like, oh, you need legal representation. I know this guy, Mendez, but his name is Mendez, but he's actually a lawyer. He fucks bears.
Can't make this shit up. I think I do.
You had my attention.
Yes,
You had my interest.
it's like I don't even care about my kids now. I just want to meet this guy.
I've never confronted him like, no, I do not fuck with the bear. You make love to the bear.
That's what they're gonna be like. The bear fucks you. You're just along for the ride.
You just grab onto its fur and what happens
You
happens.
just let it happen.
And, you know,
This is not okay.
and the bear respects you the next day. So
Wow.
it's all good.
Oh man. No, this is too much candy. There's too much candy in the sauce right now.
You got yelled at with a stiff shoulder.
No, I know what getting yelled at looks like.
Like poor Amanda who almost put her teaspoon back in the sugar bowl.
Oh, and even I know that one. Come on.
We're gonna move on because this game can no longer contain this much candy.
No. Character backstory is just going to be about this myth. And let this be.
Look at this legend.
So my first order of business.
What time is it?
Yeah, what time did we get?
So it is about 2 in the afternoon.
Oh, she's sick by now.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yes,
About
okay.
2 minutes
I guess I can prepare myself
for
for
the next
tomorrow.
morning. Yes. So first order of business for me.
She's in June at this hour.
Right, she's in Florida now.
Yeah. She probably burrows underground like an empire.
No, she doesn't burrow. The ground opens up for her
Yeah, that's right.
as is proper.
It just lets her roll in.
I go straight to the blacksmith. About that we left the shop, and I put up a sign that says extended vacation. For inquiries, see Mendez.
So you're just like unsolicited ad, putting that on the.
As my cousin, I feel responsible, so I'm ensuring that his business has some sort of representation down. Also, any fuckers that come around to snoop about the carrion crows can come talk to us.
Oh, where's that button? I was like, oh my god.
No, yeah, I
Got it.
Ricardo Mendez.
Is he the other
My
Monday?
friend.
Oh, he's still in town. Yeah, because he's working for us now.
He works for Salvador now.
He's an Egyptian crow like the rest of us. A freak crow like the rest of us. Ooh, that's kind of sexy. Yeah. No,
It was very amusing. You missed out.
I think you got enough of it. Actually,
You guys was a lot of fun.
it's dim in here. So yeah, once we're done there, we head back to our to the area where our house is, and I'm gonna go check on the shop. I'm gonna go check on whatever Jose I have stationed there.
Did we go see Ricardo?
No,
Okay.
not yet.
So if we go back to the house, I have to go take inventory of all of this.
Oh, no. That's why.
And you're gonna make sure that what's his face is like.
That's exactly right.
Yes.
And that's
Xavier, there we go. Wrong one.
You have to make sure that
Which is why I'm-
Zebby didn't drop like
A bunch of
something
salt.
into your plan,
He didn't salt my earth.
right?
So I stopped there to let whichever Jose I have working the desk know that I'm back in town. and that I'll be able to review any cases later this evening tomorrow.
Later this evening tomorrow.
Yes.
/
Okay.
comma.
Okay.
And then instead of going back to the house, because I think I know this will happen and take too much damn time, I will then take us the long way around.
Oh, it's not, so you're not letting me go to the house?
Yes.
Okay. If you ever see my friend, that would be really sad.
No, we're gonna all go see Madame Salvadora
Yes.
and report back.
Do that before we go back home.
I keep my eyes open. I keep my ears open. Is there a change in tone in town, or is it kind of more of the same, or what?
There is a change in tone in town. That's right. Like the boys are back in town. It's not hard to pick up on the hubbub because it's literally discussed like everywhere in hushed tones. There is a fearful atmosphere as 2 new inquisitors have arrived in town. Inquisitor Mizabi, accompanied by Inquisitor Juarez, straight from Tadichin City. Apparently handpicked by the Cardinal himself. As a result, the Prophet Sword are cracking down on a lot of illegal operations.
Wait, these are the ones that came letter, are they?
Yes. Well, maybe.
So the Inquisition is getting sort of a second wind in San Felipe. It's normally seen as a bit of a haven because, you know, it's sort of like San Felipe is seen like as a city where there's like multiple zones, right? Like where people sort of fight the man on a consistent basis. But now there is a crackdown. There's sort of a sullen tone to town.
You gotta go talk to our
Every
friends at the
time
restaurant.
you hear some of this stuff, all of you have to sort of prevent Jimena from taking immediate action.
Oh yeah.
But she's ready to go.
Oh, yeah.
By the way,
I know.
did any more flyers with my likeness appear?
Oh yeah.
You don't see any.
Okay,
That doesn't mean they're not around.
great. That's great.
So yeah, that's sort of the vibe. There's like a pregnant pause there.
Yeah.
Well, yeah. I was gonna say, well, if I see one, but we didn't see any.
I don't notice anything.
No, I don't.
Yeah, but
I'm like,
Yeah, if any of you are sort of listening a little bit closer, like it looks like Knight Captain Dory Kelly has been granted higher authority to act, which is encroaching on the governor's men. But
I was looking at my, you were operating.
Oh no!
And I
Why
was
do they want these ones?
I was like, Sally.
yeah,
do
she's
we
like
have
that.
top?
Sally, she's just like, she's just that generous. Like, here, do you want to share my film for me?
There's no cat over here. You've been pointing for like the last, like, I don't know, 20 minutes. There's like no fucking cat there.
She took her nap and then she had her bath and now she's moving around. Here she comes.
Amanda, if you want to see the impersonation, I'm pretty sure the camera caught it.
no,
There's no cat. What rounds?
She went around that way. Oh, she's probably going to her food now.
Oh, did you refeed her? Did the cats get dinner?
I didn't water.
Did you refeed it dinner yet?
No, I did not. Yeah, same. Cool. Then we head to
All right.
Jenny is no longer romping around as a bear, but is now Jenny.
I thought you were going to say naked.
For the first time.
roundabout way,
Yeah,
and then
I'm
in a while.
and then through the back door.
Yep. you get through your normal way in, which is around the back. You get taken through like the servants' entrance up to sort of the little war room, the usual hangout spot. Weirdly enough, by the moment you arrive, there's an assortment of food and drinks already laid out. They haven't been there long because some of those little pastries are still piping hot.
And I'm sure it goes fucking ape shit.
Immediately. Like Jimena grabs, like, there's multiple trays, like she grabs one of them and goes sits on one of the
I'm
couches.
surprised that at this point they don't just like give her a whole table. The rest of us just have this tray at the
She
side.
actually steps close and grabs like a couple of the bottles and puts them on the tray with the pastries and then comes and sits on the couch.
I'll probably make like that's too sweet taste because we do need trailed camp food for
Yeah.
a week, and to have like a proper fancy pastry is just like saccharine.
Yeah.
I am totally practicing my seafood stuff while I'm sitting here with the report.
I hold to the thing that this is all too good for me.
I say to him, I'm like, you better start copying Evine because you need to practice your fanciness for the party.
She's like, yeah. And she's just like, yep, drinking straight from the bottle. Yeah.
Okay, great. Good to know that my role as leader of this crew is taken seriously. It's really comforting.
It does not take long.
I sort of shamelessly sort of wander around the room and just absorb info that's left out.
Oh, yeah. Roll me actually let's go with wits and you got
Hear me out. What if we
sailing. Yeah.
macaroni hot
Overseas.
mm-hmm.
I think it was louder than
Green milk cheese. Stir it all together. What?
I thought you were going to make me.
I mean, it's just
Okay.
I don't think so.
So 3 raises.
3? Yeah. It's enough for you to you look at sort of the map that's laid out. You notice immediately that all shipping to and fro one particular warehouses has completely ceased. And you immediately recognize that as the warehouse where you found the rat. So Salvadora sees her shipping to and fro that particular warehouses. It looks like it's shut down. You also notice a number of new trade routes that actually may be useful for you or your aunt's operation, which you immediately take note of, including one that actually fills you with some pride, as it looks like one of the new vessels that they were finalizing has taken its maiden voyage and is now headed actually up north, past Avalon to Destin.
Oh, those young Jose's who we talked to, they're doing us proud. Hey, Evine, would you have mentioned the Avalon whiskey? Or not whiskey, would you have mentioned that?
Yeah.
That you're on the hunt for that?
Yep.
Would you have wanted me to try and see if I can get a hold of the bottle for you? All right, cool.
Yes. It could not be located at the camp. I know you asked about that. It could not. There's plenty of wine. There's all sort of other booze. A lot of it is like moonshine and stuff that people brought from home. But No proper Avalon branding. So you probably have to ship it. Ship it.
I got you. All right. Cool. And so as I'm sort of like, I'm guessing our fearless leader comes on in.
Yes, it doesn't take too long until one of the side doors is opened by a servant, and then walks Salvadora with Luna Maria. And
And kind of does the
Salvadora,
Are we looking for Ricardo?
you don't see Ricardo. The door is shut behind the both of them. Salvador doesn't do fences and basically goes that each one of you giving you sort of a short but sweet hug to each one of you. It's like, so good to see you.
Oh yeah. I sense that right away. Good squeeze.
Yeah.
Set her back.
2 kisses.
Knees.
I actually put my hand to like the proper thing.
You all get a turn, and then she sort of gestures as she sees Jenya as usual, not sitting. Just gestures to a seat.
I chuckle like, and I'm like, you'll have a hard time convincing your Ifriti crows otherwise.
Oh, is that the name of the music? I can live with that.
Well, you've got the small collection of them now.
She sort of arches an eyebrow and takes a seat herself and
Yeah.
sort of grabs some of the tea from the tray and is like, oh, you go on.
So not just the adoptee Ricardo, but because of our adventures, we are now also honorary members of the Carry On Corps.
See, I knew I was right to give this mission to you. Fantastic. So you met with their leadership.
Indeed, and we are on incredibly good terms.
What was your impression? Is this a relationship worth investing into?
To be honest, I am not sure. There is a lot of wisdom and power left, but they're in the position currently. They've been losing a lot of their best people because of fear of retaliation from those who are working against them.
They do have a lot of people there,
I can sympathize.
but they need our help.
Yeah. So, as the new part of the family, we've been tasked with a undertaking to ensure that their enemies don't get more of a hand up on them, which should hopefully rebolster their ranks once that axe is no longer over the heads of the younger families.
That sounds reasonable. Proper trade offer.
So I pointedly, from Luna Maria to or back over to Luna Maria, and I say, speaking of which, we heard there's going to be a party with one baron from Montaigne, and would love an invite.
She actually
Shenya makes the spit at the sound of Montaigne and stops and goes, "You're in my space."
yeah. She actually like sort of chuckles slightly and then was like, I assume this is not purely for enjoyment of the Baron's part.
When you can mix business and pleasure, that's called pirating.
I don't disagree. She actually leans back at that and said, that can be arranged.
Like 1,000-yard stare for that brief moment when I say that's called pirating, and like the word is weird in my mouth. That's not the word I would use,
Right.
but that's the translation for paid.
Yep.
And then I'm like, oh, and any blueprints for where it's going to be held. whole suit.
Absolutely. She doesn't even need to turn around when Amaria is out the door almost immediately. She then sort of leans a little bit closer once Amaria is out and says, "Would that have anything to do with this task you asked about our new potential business partners?"
Oh, no, yeah, let me clarify. I'm confident that we can do business with the carry-on pros. However, I don't know if there will be one if this task isn't done, which we've been asked to do as new members. So, yeah,
That's absolutely fair.
but that's, it's not a you need to do this. It's a this needs to be done. Otherwise, yeah. So we've got a plan for that already. Any resources, of course, will help yourself as well as ourselves and etc. But on to more mixing business with pleasure. I'm sure the renewed zealotry of the Prophet Sword is not welcome in town.
No. And it's quite bad for business, as you can probably imagine.
Yes.
There's already been multiple raids on warehouses, which is why we have taken upon us to shut down one of our specific warehouses until we can get a situation with shall we say, a less loyal employee under heel. Last thing I need is for a detachment of Prophet Sword soldiers to find, I don't know, incriminating evidence placed into one of my warehouses just at the right time. So yes, I have only been gone for a few days. The climate has changed quite a bit, and the Prophet Sword is tightening its grip with encouragement from the two new inquisitors. Rumors has it, however, that all is not quite well within the Inquisition's house.
I think me and him and I both go, yes.
Oh, I feel that.
You may have heard that the original appointment was given to Inquisitor Zabi, who was supposed to take over as Grand Inquisitor in this area. Some of our agents report, however, that the Cardinal himself appointed Inquisitor Juarez as a safekeeping measure. Rumor has it that trust is not high and that Inquisitor Muzabi might be harboring some unique ideas as to what the Inquisition should be, which is not pleasing to Cardinal.
I struck my beard and I go, gee, I wonder agents on either side of the two would be interested to have the information that the other one's dogs failed in the mountains.
No doubt.
I think that would be quite a bit. That's, yeah. I like the sound of that because I don't know which one of them sent them. I don't remember. Do we know? Yeah. And to start sowing that seed of some part of their camp thinks that they failed, and the other part of the camp thinks the other one failed. I think would be a great bit of disinformation to sow some more seeds of discontent.
After a little bit, Luna Maria steps in with a couple of rolls that she basically rolls onto the war table, so to speak.
I like it. Like,
Yeah. And sort of takes a step back, so anybody who wants to go and look
all the ladies need to.
Well, I have 4 months of work there, so
I have like
kind of my deal.
zero.
Totes.
Yeah.
I think definitely by now we would trust your instinct for like
For battle.
choke points
Yeah.
and ambush points and what have you, and like
I can sniff out snipers.
crazy savant. Where I'm like, tell me what's your weirdo ass like.
Salvador actually steps with that and sort of points at the map and says, I cannot vouch for the fact that this is updated to the day, but this is the main plan of Encina's estate, where the Bar d'Auvergne will be holding his party. This is the very estate that the Baron wants to acquire.
It's another side.
He technically has a line to acquire it, as his wife is related by way of a second cousin to the previous owner of this estate. However,
Like cockroaches.
as you can imagine, a Moroccan noble establishing himself in Central Italy is not very welcome. The crown is not quite interested in that prospect. However, our agents mentioned that the Baron is trying to gain the trust of the Inquisition in a bid to facilitate the acquisition of this estate. It is quite valuable. It includes a sprawling vineyard. It is a quite fetching source of revenue, and in a prime location in South America.
Oh, okay. So it's probably expensive as hell to buy.
Yes.
Well,
You can buy it.
I mean, I didn't think I would be able to, but I was definitely going to float the idea that I was like, how unfeasible would it be for, say, an esteemed lady of the local, aristocracy to put in a bid, or maybe even an organization such as the Vendel League,
Yes.
to look at it as a new base of operations slash uh, embassy. But like, no, that sounds like richer blood than any of us care to put in.
We've
So-
considered an investment, if only because wine business would not be a terrible investment. Plus,
I think most people in the room are like,
plus keeping undesirables off of our doorstep, which would be an added benefit. But the price is not the only obstacle here. The Encina's family is quite traditional and will only sell the estate to someone who has a blood claim to it, no matter how far. They are very adamant about keeping this estate in the family, and it has been for generations.
or have there been any plans to devalue the property in any meaningful way? Are there any adjoining estates we've been able to avail ourselves of? And generally,
believe you me, there are quite a few.
and generally make the neighborhood go downhill.
If you let me hang out with some goats for a while, right? We can get rid of that vineyard.
Right? But
The estate,
no, don't. The grapes didn't do anything wrong. Okay. I think me, Salvador, and Jimena will agree. Don't hurt the grapes. They've grown to no one.
the estate has been maintained at this point, but it's not operating anywhere near its capacity right now, which is willing to invest time and capital into the operation. Of course, sabotage has been attempted both by other wine barons as well as some incursions from Guadace, after some of the merchant princes have found their offers refused. some of them are looking at the Southern Castile wine market and are willing to make a little dent into it. Unfortunately, the Encinas family will not budge and let, in their own words, a dirty bodache acquire this estate. So even if I were to try it, I'm afraid somebody from Kemet is not welcome to try to do it.
So
Or a
only
vendor
Yumena can do it?
bureaucrat.
So only Yumena can do it?
Yeah. She's common rabble from what I've heard, so she would be able to do that. No, okay, that's fine. Although, don't we know some locals of good standing?
Are we thinking about
Our friends at the restaurant.
yeah. Are they in good standing?
I mean, maybe.
I mean, one of them is the Grande of Odisea.
Yeah, maybe.
She's officially in charge.
Oh,
They're trying to placate her because she's going against the church, but Lucia Serafin is basically the highest ranked government official in the entire area.
I say this, I'm like, maybe put a pin in that one as not an option.
And the double method.
Exactly. We have some other interests, mixing fun with work, because absolutely this new prophet sword situation that's not fun for anyone. So we're going to want to look into that.
Absolutely. And this might kill two birds with one stone.
Or
If the
kill a lot of
prophet sword,
birds.
One does not to kill the birds. The birds are our friend.
Oh, that's true. It's true. We're just going to stone a bunch of
Unfortunately,
people.
if the prophet sword manages to cripple the carrion crow at this stage of the game, it will only strengthen their foothold here in the south and will demonstrate to the crown of Castile that yes, their barbaric methods can produce results. So we have to give them a taste of failure yet again.
We're going to serve that shit up pickle.
I have much
Oh, we all do. Don't worry, honey.
The estate is a traditional southern Castilian one. Sprawling corridors, big open verandas.
So this is all on the map.
Yes, a pretty lavish ballroom, and you better believe that the Baron will pull out all the stops. He has a reputation to uphold, and he is going to try to get into the good graces of the local nobility by showing them how much money he's willing to pour into giving them a grand time, and how much he is willing to pay to become part of their group.
If anyone is hired to help prep the estate, I'm sure they would love to have a few drinks, and wouldn't be shy about talking about which parts of the estate are being brought back up for the party, and which sections are being left unattended until the proper purchase, because those are definitely the areas we'd be interested in for our purposes.
Absolutely.
And do we actually know any people that are working on the day of the party?
We might not, but I'm sure we might.
Yes. Yes.
Well, we have a week, and we can.
Did you get them licked?
No, I just got picked.
Nice pets.
It's nice to know what I wanted.
The hues of red and pink I've seen between the two of them are pretty interesting.
What?
The hues of red and pink between the two of you were very interesting.
Yes.
Oh, they must have been.
Yeah.
Well,
Just have her make sure she's not dead.
Yes, so we can absolutely do some groundwork.
You know, and if you can just get us in contact, we can do a lot of the other stuff because we're starting to make our own little sub organization.
That's right. Well, I can find out the names. That much I can try to find out. You can also expect the Prophet Sword to be there, both as part of security, as also an avoidable party to carouse with two Inquisitors in town. It would be absolutely foolish for the Baron to exclude them from his invite. Especially with how much political power they wield currently.
Do we know if these two have like their own camps of soldiers, or like can we play them off of each other?
You don't have all these details yet, but it's certainly not impossible. The Prophet's Sword is sort of the police force there, but each Inquisitor very likely has his own retinue, mostly because it's sort of a cutthroat game there, and they tend to associate into cliques and vie for the Cardinal's attention and approval. So,
Right. Right.
Yes.
Right.
What is
So if you can see if someone is tied to Juarez or what's his name?
Wasabi.
Wasabi, you can then tell them that you're with the other one. Fuck with them.
Yes.
Like I'm on.
But they will have to be in. I would have to see them both in the same building. But yeah.
Hello.
I mean, if you can figure out,
Yay.
Hello.
I mean, if you can figure out which chord looks like which, I don't know how it works.
It does not work that
Sorry, you probably missed part of our
grand scheme.
party debrief.
It might.
Keep going in like 3 minutes-ish.
Okay. But if you want to be sure, I need to have them.
Well, you and Jimena and Amin will almost definitely be in the same room with both of them, with the Baron in the main ballroom for at least a hot minute, so you can start tagging who's with who.
Yes.
And then from there, you can sort of get a gauge for who to swap on.
Yes.
If you can drag them by me somewhere, I can get your names, but not too many. I have to do something down first. Yeah. And then, but yeah, otherwise, I don't know if I've mentioned this or not, Lady Salvadora, but there have been a sudden outbreak of Jose's in town. Should you come across one, use him as you would, him or her. We don't discriminate about who becomes a Jose. But typically there's someone we've convinced to work for us, and by extension are part of our network.
I won't question you with this.
I mean, please do, but that you
Jenny
seem like
shakes
really
her head
effective.
disapprovingly.
I will not, as it's obviously producing results.
And we honestly believe there's good in every Jose.
Only Jose is there. You can expect everyone who is anyone in southern Castile to be there or to have a representative at this party. My agents also tell me that in a bid to impress, Bilvel is bringing a prestigious performing troupe straight from Montaigne.
This is not good.
Does
Many of
anyone-
them sorcerers.
This is very
This will be. We hurt magic people who do bad magic.
Genya, this makes your skin crawl
Yeah,
because
I'm just-
you know what the molten magic looks like. You rip big old holes into reality and then teleport through them. It's some bad dream. You've actually experienced it before on the battlefield. You can feel it when it happens. It's like wounding the natural order.
What was it?
Like magic circumcision.
Yeah. I'm not for it.
So yes,
Maybe we can call the woman or-
I like this idea.
I think you might be able to do that.
I mean, if we can find another building with a whole bunch of them in it, we'll
even
go right now.
even our pipes in between two pipes, and it's like I can.
Like, yeah, I'm not too shy on this one. This one, I'm like, oh, it's working. Anyway,
We're gonna let you indulge yourself.
I need, dude, I mean, all this being nice and sneaking around shit is not jiving with my nature. But Tony wants it, so
I have been, of course, extended an invitation, and I am in a position to request more invitations for my employees and associates.
well, there is a new litigator in town, Mendez y Mendez. And
So I
he's
hear.
looking to gain more high-profile clientele,
So I hear.
other than sailors and merchantmen, because they don't pay quite as well for their services.
Understood.
And the boy at the desk, Jose, he's very smart.
I suppose as a potential business opportunity, I would be more than happy to offer some admissions to this Mr. Mendez in return for future considerations. It would make good business sense.
Or, of course, one of his personal assistants.
Oh, absolutely.
Because I don't think it's any secret that one of the Mendezes is well connected to the Mendez League. So that all checks out.
Absolutely. No one will be attending without its own visit.
Cool. So I believe at this point it's evening.
Yeah, it's getting towards that. At some point, as you're wrapping up the conversation and sort of looking at the estate, Mario actually pulled out like a second copy of it.
Nice.
So you have one thing you'll be able to look at on your own time. Just sort of discussing this, like Luna Maria is sort of scribing action items to like looking who's gonna work the event and where and how and sort of obtaining this list of names. She also mentions trying to look into the names of the agents. We know that the Baron is not going to be making the exchange himself, so they're going to try to look into.
Did we establish that, or didn't the Carrying Crows sort of intimate that he would?
No, like he so
just
the
gonna
general
have a
basically said one of his representatives would be doing that. Is the general was basically saying like he would be caught with that hot of a paper on this person in case. The whole reason to do it at this estate is that he wants to get into the good graces of the Inquisition. He also doesn't fully trust them not to fuck him over.
Sure. All right. So maybe Marlena asterisks on the plan that this is with whomever the Baron's agent is.
Okay.
Not necessarily with the Baron, because the Baron's not going to have it on him. Cool.
So as you're finalizing to wrap up with that, there is a short rap at the door, and the servant reopens the door, and in comes Ricardo.
And hops up with joy and big smiles. And, my friend, you are back.
He actually goes to you and gives you like a good solid grip of the arm. It's like, my friend, so good to see you.
Oh wait, I have something for you. And digs through her bag and pulls out a nice bottle that she's rebottled of Eucerin spirit.
Oh, he grabs it and he's like,
This is from my travels.
I trust that you've been to the camp.
Yes.
Is everyone safe?
Oh, like I think we hugged him, like hugs all around.
He,
Well, I
he,
wasn't doing that.
he was not going to assume, but the moment it is offered, he goes full in,
Yeah.
big grip.
Yeah, and I'm like, everyone made it back. Maybe not one piece,
What is in one piece? Just
less of it. Yeah, and so we're like, he took big fall. Had to lose the lower part of the leg, not the whole leg. He was recovering when we saw him in Ivan's hands. So
He will recover.
Yeah.
Jenya ticks off like 12 people, and I talk to this person, and this person, and this person. I have to go back to this person.
you see the eyeball rolling across the floor.
Wow.
Right.
I don't like
You Russians have very powerful friends.
And I go, Ricardo. He freed the crows.
I like the sound.
It's
Yes.
got the good ring to it.
Yes. Absolutely.
Also, when you want to go back to the blacksmith, I put up a sign. Of course, I'm representing the family, so
Thank you. Thank you for being thoughtful with this. It's run down, but it's been a family business. I'm sure I would get haunted to Legion and back if
like more serious than it has ever been so far. I'm like no, then yeah, we'll take care of it.
but I'm glad. I'm glad you made contact, and I'm glad that you got rid of the Excursions trying to get back to camp.
Well, we're going to keep scouring too.
That makes me feel like the recruits will rest better.
Oh yeah, no, they're on the wall. Yeah, and I point like from him back to like Luna Marat. I'm like, are you going to get to help with the party?
Oh, absolutely.
Woo!
I would not miss it.
Oh,
It is why I'm here. I just got word that I may get a second assignment. Now that we have Mr. Casillas in custody, and that some of the Marriot's agents are extracting information from him.
which one is he again?
He was the mole at the warehouse.
Oh yeah, all right. I'm like, it would be good if one Mendez showed up at the party, even if it's not the first Mendez.
I would be more than happy to represent those business.
Then I fill him in on the plan so far that find the agent, present Jimena and no, you're keeping the dean as the backup.
She's the ringer.
Yeah.
And then
Yeah. I go
Jimena
first.
Marina as the retinue. If you can help pin down who the actual contact is supposed to be, we might be able to keep them distracted. And then if the handoff doesn't happen, Evine's back up on that. And if that doesn't work, we just drag them off to a corner and bump them.
Luna Maria's like writing down like more notes in Salvador and saying, by the end of this week, the business will not only be fully acknowledged, it will also have a built-in reputation.
So I don't know how I feel about that. Like, I kind of like that it was this weird sham shell company. But, no, that's fine. It's
Why
fine.
always make another sham shell company?
No, you know, Jose's got to work. Jose's got to have a bit.
Don't worry. Don't worry about this. If you want to keep some details obscure, you absolutely can.
Hey, no.
If you believe the trading company is the only one I own.
Oh, no. I don't think I'd have been hired if that was at all accurate.
Madame Ari actually types up from taking notes, and she actually looks at Ricardo and says, "Any new words from Mr. Casillas?" And
Oh, that's wonderful.
Ricardo basically says, "He woke up about 2 hours ago. I believe your agents are working on a completely different angle with him. He's not in great shape, but he's very amenable to speak at this point." She sort of nods and basically says, "I'm assuming at the rate they are going, we will have at least the name within a day."
Do we have any sort of idea on which of the two inquisitors would we say is the weaker of the two?
I mean,
In
because
terms of standing,
Yeah.
both of them have pretty sizable accomplishments that are made. Juarez is the one that, by reputation alone, is closest to the cardinal himself. Mazabi is very competent and produces results, but also has a bit of a reputation as a black sheep. Cool.
Great. So, if do we have anything else we want to touch on while we're here? Because I think we're hungry. I think we need to go out for some dinner.
we're going to visit those. So,
Well, we've been out of town. We've been out of town. We want to say hi to our friends and get some good dinner in. You know, do the thing.
Well, good. That seems like a great idea. Unfortunately, the Restaurante Salazar is quite busy at this time of the year in the evenings. But I hear that certain coins can give you access to the backside of the restaurant.
I know, and I'm like, if coin's never been a problem for me.
No, they do.
yeah, this,
No, I know. That's I'm just being cheeky.
Yeah, well, yeah. No, they gave us coins. What was very
Read the whole and it's like, okay,
No, yeah,
like I walked into that one.
you're right. You're right.
What are their coins called? What was their deal?
It's sort of like a challenge point almost.
Yeah.
But it's
They had-
basically it's a token of the Odyssean liberation movement.
There you go.
Yep. Probably pretty illegal, but
We're bedecked in illegal shit.
no,
I'm
absolutely. Yeah, you're illegal goods.
Yes, you are.
Period.
And maybe someone can let our what our employees at home know that we'll be back by the end of the night?
Absolutely. You can have that arranged immediately. Cool. Christina has been, as I hear, eagerly awaiting your return.
Finally found someone who enjoys their cooking.
I'm not sure that was the problem.
No, it's just
Is that he eats like a bird.
I bet he moves like one, so keeps those hollow bones in proper.
It's not natural. I promise Matushka I'd be nice to her. She got mad at me last time I said no. She was insane. Ugh.
Cool. So if we're all good there,
Yes.
we head out over to the restaurant, and if it is in fact jumping,
Yes. No, it is.
we will go back around like we're going to a different restaurant in the district, and then come in through the back alley, and grab one of the people on break out back.
Yes. You
And-
see, there's actually like a few. They look like employees. They're playing cards in the alley, like right out back.
They look like employees.
Oh
like,
yeah.
like
They're like still have their aprons. They're right outside the door when they start off.
but their aprons are too clean.
No.
Oh, okay, like they are actually employees. They,
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
So whichever one looks like they're the top dog, I'm like, hello.
He actually sort of nods and is like, good to see you folks. We're on break.
Okay. We were wondering if we could talk to someone inside.
Oh, the entrance is actually on the other side.
Oh yeah, no, it's business.
Yeah, like our business is from the front side of the restaurant.
With I put the coin in with some gold. I sort of clink it in the hand. I'm like,
Right.
I don't think we want to go in through the front door. And I just hold up like a gold coin, like I'm
Right.
bribing him.
Right. You actually like make a show of the other coin.
No, not. I hold up the gold coin to him to make it look like it's just a good old bribe.
Right. He sort of
And I-
extends a hand.
And I hold the palm open so that coin's on top.
Right.
So if he comes over, I don't want to play it to everybody.
Right.
But if he's like the one speaking for him, I'm guessing he'll
He
know
sort
what's up.
of looks at the coin and looks like at the card game if there's some money on the table. He's like, well, maybe that could help a little bit. And he just like sort of stands up to go look at your hand. When he sees the coin in your hand, he grabs one of your other coins and then he's like, this will do. And then he sort of nods at one of the other guys, and one of the other guys goes and props the door open and sort of leans into it and starts to light a pipe, right? Like he's just, and the guy sits down and picks up his card and he's like, you should head inside and go one of the back tables. The sea breeze is killer tonight. Why don't you go and shield yourself?
Oh yeah, no, that cold
Yes.
wind. Yeah, we stroll in.
Shit. I think it's pretty cool though.
It's okay. We're comfy inside. It's all right.
Yeah.
So yeah,
The guy propping the door open is not looking as you're just passing through. He's just looking into the alley, smoking his pipe, holding the door.
So having been in there before, we have an idea of like if we
Yeah.
come in through the kitchen through here and just swing.
That's right. That kitchen is booming.
Oh yeah, we treat it like an obstacle course and just duck and weave.
There's people like yelling at each other in there, like not pissed off. Like it's just like
Oh yeah, no,
awesome.
it's going. Yeah, I think all of us know. I think all of us have that much awareness of what goes on in a kitchen to try and be as undifficult as possible.
That's right. You move through there and basically pass through like one of the big arches to one of the side tables. where you were seated last time. And you wait there for a moment. About 5 minutes pass, and a waiter comes by without a word and drops food and wine. You know,
I still drop like a handful of coins just under a tray somewhere because I'm like, this, you know, we may be guests, but you know, help out. So for later.
yes, he actually grabs them, and you get like a courteous nod as he ducks back into the bustle. The table that you have like seem like very strategically placed in the restaurant. It's nice and cool in this area.
Mm-hmm.
You hear the din, so like your conversation is not broadcast like everywhere, but it's also fairly quiet. Like you can hear yourself speak, right? About 5 minutes after your food arrives, a familiar figure steps in to meet you. Sebastian, which you met last time, sort of arrives. So his big jovial face, and he takes off his hat. Big dark man, and he just like through you laughed, and like you get hugs immediately.
Oh yeah, no, hell yeah.
It's like, oh my friends. You know, he goes all around. He's like, you enjoying the food?
Oh, always fantastic service here. Absolutely. We've been on the road. We've been out of town. I was working with a client at home, and first thing back, had to come get a drink. We knew it was Saturday night. We knew it would be busy, but we were like, we can't not try. And you know, the All Father smiled down on us and was like, you need to eat. So,
well, I'm glad you chose our establishment to come and eat. Please. Lucia is on our way. She's finishing the talk with a couple of diplomats from Italy. She will be with us shortly. Please.
no, yeah. I do lean in a little more. I'm like, we can speak frankly, right? In here, right?
Absolutely. Everybody serving food in this part of the restaurant is a trained server.
Great. As soon as what's her name?
Lucia.
Yeah. As soon as Lucia gets in, I got a hell of a question. So,
Well, I'm looking forward to that. He sort of rubs his like bald head like
Yeah.
a second, like
just so we're not going over the same, you know how it goes. So,
well, actually, we're in these kinds of talks all day. Like this is a much more fun food than the one that you have to see.
like that laugh, I don't care if it travels. I'm like, oh yeah, it's good times. Cool.
So after a while, you know, there's just like small talk, right? Sebastian was just like asking like, you know, how have you been? Like how's the town been? Like it's more difficult right now, and like there's sort of a lot going on. Like people are circling around the restaurant a lot. We have to, you know, watch what they're doing constantly. We have to go entire days before without doing any sort of important business just to throw people off the sand.
Sorry if we're here on and off day, but
Carry the coins, you're patriots.
oh yeah, we're real patriotic up in here. Oh.
He, after about like a little while, she actually comes in with an extra bottle of wine accompanied by two other people who are sort of talking at her and taking notes. And then she's sort of nodding, like, you know, looking very, very tired. And then she finally sits down and she's like, yes, Lucian, tomorrow morning. I will review the list with you. I know what you still have to do. I am well aware. Just tomorrow morning. I have a headache that only wine will cure. So they
I'm
both
sure
sort
Jimena will drink to that.
so the sort of both like bow and sort of duck, almost sliding out of frame, right, as she takes a seat right next to Sebastian, and you just like slide her like on the back.
Yeah.
And
I'm like, lady, do you need to be kidnapped for a day or so? Like,
she sort of rubs her temples and just like uncorks the bottle of wine and takes a swig, and you're just like,
you can arrange that.
I wish.
She was mortified that
I
you would
wish.
offer to have her kidnapped.
No, you would do the kidnapping.
Why would we do the kid? She's a red.
With her consent.
That doesn't make any sense.
I know, I'm sorry. I'll try and explain it later.
She passes the bottle of wine to you, like straight from the bottle, and then she's, if I didn't think the entire southern peninsula would catch on fire if I took a day off, I would happily take you on your office.
We were only gone like 3 days and they was
Sometimes sorting the ashes is easier than keeping it from going up in flames.
Some days recently, I'm seriously considering it.
Well,
I'm gonna have to play that.
well, speaking of which, that's what I came for. Is Linda's is establishing itself as a business in town, looking to make inroads into higher profile clientele. I hear there's a certain party that's going to be happening soon, so I'm sending a rep to that to sort of press flesh, if you know what I mean. All my own business. Need not concern yourself with it. But what I am concerned with, to be frank, is looking nice swords around, and
She visibly tenses from pure stress, as you mentioned before.
and it would be a great release of tension and serves numerous business opportunities to have one location that can just get wrecked. Because, quite frankly, after what we went through in the mountains, out in the country, I think we're ready to beat up some normal people.
I won't even ask. Sebastian is like leaning forward and is like, I will. Maybe not now,
Oh boy, have we got stories?
but you owe me a tale.
Absolutely. I will whittle the shit out of this tooth. And you will hear the whole thing.
Lucia she leans back and she like sort of rubbing her face and she's like, what are we talking about exactly?
Well, we've got plenty. I almost tell this to Sebastian, like, we got plenty of tales to make here in town. So the sooner we can help you help us, helping you and everyone else, the sooner we can start cracking some heads and making things a little less comfy for those dogs moving into my adopted home, and where, quite frankly, I'm setting up shop.
I would much rather have you as a constituent rather than these dogs, as you call them. Because they don't move in as constituents, they come in as future owners.
That's not how you do business.
No, it is not.
You come in to raid. You come in and raid. You don't fuck around.
Lucia actually like has her bottle of wine and she just leans a little closer and she's like, please, what do you do for us?
I need a house. I need a name. Any target that we can abuse. We're gonna go do it tonight, probably, or at least I will. I know this one has to go to bed early, but
Yes, it is. It's fine. Coming time.
And if not tonight,
On something eventually.
then tomorrow.
Certainly can't be late.
So wait, is this just a block Steam? I've lost like what we were even trying to do.
We've been doing a lot of work around and to set up this and that. That's not how I typically operate. And I think at least three of us, I indicate Jenya and Jimena, would appreciate some good old straightforward revenge or assertive negotiations.
Sebastian actually leans forward and basically says, it actually makes pretty good strategic sense.
And
They
it
are-
serves a lot of purposes.
They are beating our people down right now. Morale is getting low. People used to think of San Felipe as somewhat of a respite in these dark times where the Inquisition is encroaching more and more into the Castilian way of life. Some people believe that the Cardinal himself is sinking his claws very deeply into good King Sandoval. So there's not a lot of hope. And I think
This is like when we went into that building and
I was actually about to ask, is there a name of that? Is there like a name for that area of town, or like the name of that street or something? Because having that as a callback, as a call to arms, could be very strong for
a
morale
show of
across the town,
force, even an unidentified show of force,
which is what I'm about.
will help people remember that Odisseo bends to no man, whether they speak for the prophets or not. He actually leans back and turns to Lucia and says, I'm on board. This will help us, and I can have one of our agents find you a target within the hour.
Trying to give us a shot.
I'm not gonna point barrel it at, point the barrel
I mean, his is him. Deserves like, his is mine.
Oh no, he's we're doing good.
Lucia actually takes another swig of wine and she basically looks at all of you in turn, like as if she's considering something.
What's concern for her?
So, through common interests, in our world travels fast. One of Salvador's agents came to ask us for some assistance for a certain social event that is happening in the week.
I start laughing.
Some of the best news I've heard already. In return for this, I wonder if you are going to be part of this celebration.
Not me and not her, but Mendez does have a invite because they have pulled some strings with the Salvador's organization, and I'm sure that there might be some familiar faces at the event. Yeah.
But you're hoping to be present. I wonder if I could ask something.
Of course.
She sort of leans back and she looks like about to be crushed under the weight of what she's about to say. So Sebastian actually leans forward and says, Baron D'Auvert was a butcher during the war. He killed many Castilians. He's a war criminal that never answered to justice and made his money on the backs of others. He is a thorn in our side, and if you are up for it, he would ask you to take his life for us.
Woo! He pulled all of Genu's like, we've heard the news of people.
Well,
And what's the meaning for this direction?
well. Hmm. Hmm. Like,
Lucia
I was
actually
like,
like
Genu already agreed. Like,
she
of course.
comes back forward and she's like, I'm understanding what I'm asking.
and like I even waver off. I'm like, the answer is yes. I'm just trying to think of how we all put it all together.
Yes, we have our three options, and now we need to see where this new task fits in.
Yeah.
Sebastian actually is pouring himself a tall glass of wine and basically says, you will find your location and address tonight. And after this, you have my full back. If you take out Vilvan, I will take it as a personal favor for you.
Wow.
She just put one on his cheek to brace herself.
That's right.
Oh,
We just,
It's there for convenience. So.
hold on. Oh, why? Oh, that's my neck.
yeah.
Yeah, it got weird.
You missed your paw here. I'm fine. I had it back. Thank you.
Not again.
Um, um, okay then, yeah, no, that sounds fun. Yeah, we'll go ahead and
Cancel this in.
we're gonna enjoy the rest of this here meal. With or without you, like if you know, of course you're welcome to stay if you
Like, she was basically like, if you do not mind, I would enjoy the company. Like that.
oh yeah. The offer stands for the kidnapping. Anytime you need.
Sebastian actually pulls his chair back, and then he's like, El Gusto, round two.
Yeah, Jimenez almost seen the bottom of the plate. Like it's time for more.
Yeah.
I actually lean over at Oseo.
Lucia.
Sorry. I'm staring at Odyssean.
Yeah,
so
it's written with an X, which is the part that trips up.
so I lean over to Lucia. I was like, I actually know a nice little mountain pass. Okay, here we go. You can get to it for as long as you need. So, should you find a way to be gone for a few days, let me know.
That actually sounds very nice.
Or at the very least, I know that there's 3 locations in town no one should bother you. Maybe 4.
We're at a point right now where they scrutinize every eligible bachelor that comes and meet with us here because they're terribly afraid I will take a husband and potentially secure an alliance that will threaten the church's foothold.
Oh, by all means, take an interest in me.
I might take you up on
I do have strong connections.
And you're like, is this to be a marriage?
No, I don't think so. She's very sweet though.
Now, no offense.
None taken. But any fun we can have at someone else's expense, I think we can agree on that.
That I will bring to.
So sad.
So yes.
Don't worry, we'll try and marry someone. Maybe your
I'm
cousin.
already
Actually, when you say that, she gets visibly extraordinarily sad again, and you just watch it. Just
Why?
what did you do?
I don't know. Sometimes I say things and they make her sad. I haven't figured out what yet.
And just pours another glass. And just pour it. Just
I think if I ever figure it out, we'll stop being friends.
So the merriment continues.
except for this blue corner.
Evine, I know you're
you
about
need
this.
Sorry, I was just reading.
Okay, I was like,
So we're keeping your vote.
Yeah.
But yes, after a while of merriment, one of the waiters actually comes in and hands out a piece of paper to Sebastian. He sort of looks at it and then nods at the waiter, and then between, rounds of laughter, he sort of slides the paper forward.
Oh yeah, that shit turns into looking at my poker card super quick. What's on it? Oh, it's our location. It's our info.
That's right.
I start laughing, and I show it to everyone but Minna. If she starts to give me shit, I'm like, we will go tomorrow night, maybe tomorrow,
At some point.
as soon as she's off work.
Yes. I would have to excuse myself.
No, like right after that, I'm like, it's late. We're gonna get going because we have been on the road all day, doing business when you get into town to make sure everything's good, and making sure my interests are properly established before the party.
That's right.
As a business owner, that sort of thing. I had to get my bear stabled.
Yeah, because it's a thing now.
That absolutely comes up as part of the story that I
Yes.
now have a bear,
In a stable somewhere.
and it's somewhere in town, and
Everyone's looking at that from.
maybe at the blacksmith somewhere. That's where
Yeah.
it seemed to where the trail went cold on the bear that I'm having sex with, because it's heavily intimated
That's right.
by the guard and a lumberjack that was behind us.
Yes.
I should send word to my cousin Ricardo that
So wait, if you're fucking the bear, why am I on the bear? Am I just like kind of getting
Because-
the bear?
well, it was also suggested that you and Evine were people I was sleeping with,
Right.
but you are incredibly less interesting than the bear.
Right. You
So-
sort of fade into the picture.
Yeah.
There.
Like-
It's like,
Like it started strong that this Vestin has a harem.
Yeah.
But then bear.
it's like this Veston has like associates, like
bear.
their
Yeah.
assistants they probably sleeps with, and then a bear
Yeah.
that he also
So sleeps with. So the fact that there was these other two ladies was just, he's got a retinue,
Right.
but did you hear about the bear?
The story become more and more nondescript to the point where now it's like two chicks and a bear.
Oh my god.
Yeah.
2 girls, 1 bear. I mean,
And they're like, oh, you mean the Vestin? No, a literal bear.
Yeah,
So
that's right.
So that I think dominates a good chunk of the conversation. And then yes, we need to get home. We need to check on our babies, and we need to get you in bed so you can get to work in 4 hours when you have to be up.
Yep.
So
Lots of handshakes,
hugs. Oh, and that info goes into a fucking fire.
Right.
As soon as
Sebastian like basically just looks at you and says, we'll be on the lookout. And then we will keep an ear out. You tell me what you need for this party.
We don't think we'll need anything right away, but if it comes up, oh yeah, we'll send a Jose along.
Depends on the inside, I think.
All right.
At the very
And yeah,
Yay!
Hey.
all right.
Yes.
I think we're wrapping up. So
Yeah.
We're wrapping up as there are parts that Jimena will definitely want to be a part of. Oh yeah.
We're like kicking the shit out of Inquisition. Yeah.
That's right. We're gonna send some fucking messages. It's gonna be
Before I finish wrapping up, the 5 XP, Amanda, 5 XP all around. As the evening wraps up, you're escorted out the restaurant, to not the back this time, but through one of the side doors, and bustle is now left behind.
we're somewhat visible as guests. That's fine.
That's right. You return home, I presume.
Oh yeah.
Unfortunately, Augustina did not know that you were going for food, so there's more food, which you better.
Wow.
Yeah.
What do you mean, unfortunately? We've got
Jimena
something to take
is
care of that.
Jimena is like, well,
I gotta put some more bread on this wine. It's making me a little.
here's my other post. So she sort of posts herself there. All of Jenya's plans are
alive, kicking.
alive, in good shape, kicking. You feel a little moment of peace as you step into your garden in the back.
Has Madame Salvador come through with my tree?
Yes.
Okay, my tree is here now. It's just like
Yes. It is there.
I think we establish as we get home that Jimena will take first watch as she eats more. So I'm going to conk out in the front room. You go ahead and take second watch after you're done rooting around. I'll take third, and then Evine will pick up fourth watch. And that way, Marlena can get her snoozes in before she meets her maker.
Yeah.
And the rest of us can kind of sleep in if we need to later as Xavier and Augustina come back in for their day shift.
That's right.
So is Ricardo living there with us now or no? I don't.
No.
Okay.
He's quartered at Salvador as a student.
Right. Yeah. So yeah. So we got shift set and midnight stack and yeah, first as soon as we come back from work.
Yep.
We're gonna feed the town a little.
That's right. Prepare for a night reading. The great readers.
Cool.
All right. And we will call it for tonight.
Bye, Rabbit.
Good night, everyone. Good night, Amanda. Good night, Internet.
Yes. Good night, Internet.
It's running up to this longer session this time around.